Okay, it's 3 minutes after the top of the hour. I can hear myself in the background. And
Oh, no.
Hopefully Ashley will fix that soon. Welcome.
I don't want to drop the call because then it might take 4 hours to get it back.
That would be bad. That would be Monday. So
no, that's what it took before getting it on the fucking air.
Fair point.
Not while it's already set up and everything is gone.
So let's do this. Eventually, hopefully, before too long, I won't hear myself talk anymore.
Hang on.
All right.
I might just have to deafen everybody and go because the mic might be too sensitive.
Oh, God. That's crazy. Okay, we're good.
I thought so.
Timbo says we should be playing.
It was picking up you and NXT too much while I was watching. Wow!
Timbo said that we need to be playing all night long right now.
No.
He just seems flat out says
not
no.
Been here since the last time we talked Lucha, you know what needs to be playing. And guess what? It's queued up on YouTube already.
So, I think we're good now. Welcome, Jeremy, to chat. So, it is Wednesday. It is 9:03 p.m. and it's time to talk a little bit of everything. So, what do we have on the show tonight? We have Smackdown, 205 Live, Impact Wrestling, the return of Lucha Underground, UFC, NXT, Ring of Honor, WCPW, New Japan Pro Wrestling, and all the news and rumors from around the professional wrestling world. So sit back, relax, and enjoy another edition of the Wednesday Wrestling Popcast.
So we start off. Great start. We start off as ever with the down of Smack.
Yes.
And we start off with all 5 women saying they're Spartacus. Charlotte going, I'm genetically superior. Carmella, I've got so much class, everybody should call me teacher.
Oh my God.
What the fuck does that even mean?
Who writes these promos, Ashley? Seriously.
Don't make me remember fucking Monday. Oh, won't remind me.
Real quick, Ashley, you asked me about if I had access to something when it comes to results. I just got them.
Yeah.
So we have the results from the Impact tapings from the going on in India the last 2 days. The Pyro agrees.
Talia says, I'll prove I'm the best there is, best there was, and the best there ever will be. I think somebody else did that first, love. Becky says she'll have the luck of the Irish. And Tamina says all her opponents have had their chances. Well, admittedly, 1, you were injured, and 2, you were shit. And then 3, you're better than Nia Jax. That ain't saying much. So now it's time for the Kevin Owens highlight reel. Yes! Kevin's like, look, the former host of this show says that he invented the Money in the Bank match. But the thing is, he never won one. But in 3 weeks, I'm going to do what he could never do. Climb that ladder and get that briefcase. And be United States champion and the champion and face of the entire WWE. So he introduces his guest, Nakamura. And Kevin's like, look, I don't care if you think you're a rock star, Shinsuke. This isn't America's Got Talent. This is Kevin Owens' highlight reel. There is no dancing. By the way, it's worth noting, I don't know if this happened later or here, Nakamura now has multiple pyros in his entrance.
When the fuck did he need that?
Why does he need pyro?
Vince, are you fucking impotent? Vince?
Because dang it, he's a rock star, and rock stars need pyro.
To quote Keith Olbermann and adapt his quote from a video that got posted up 24 hours ago.
Fire Vince now.
Are we talking about TNA or WCW or WWE right now? Because it fits from different parts of history.
Delete is fucking applicable.
Indeed.
Kevin says he's on the show because he's shrouded in mystery. Who are you? Why are you here? What's your future? By the way, do you know what happened to the last person that thought they were a rock star? Yeah. That guy in his stupid scarf sent off into an early retirement. And if you show up at Money in the Bank, that'll be the last time people sing along with your stupid thing, because that'll be the day the music dies. Why are we quoting Don McLean for a rock star? What?
I'm down with this.
And then Baron Corbin interrupts, saying, nobody cares what Shinsuke has to say. Why don't we show some actual highlights from a real superstar, and then they recap him attacking Zayn after losing last week? And Kevin goes, wait, you interrupted my show to show footage of you beating up Sami Zayn last week? Sorry, old hat. I've been doing it for 15 years. Yes.
Well, he's not wrong.
Get out of here. You're not on my show. And Baron says, are you going to expect my authority, Cartman? Shut up. Like, what?
Oh, boy.
So what's Baron in this? Kenny, the guy that eventually fucking dies because he's talentless, emotional vat of, I was going to say emotionless vat of bile.
I'm not touching that. That you said it, Baron. You can come after Ashley, not me.
No, fuck it. Prove me wrong. I know you can wrestle.
Yeah,
Learn
totally.
how to fucking speak, you stupid idiot.
Yeah, his promos were terrible.
That's the one thing that's holding you back. And not even any manager, whoever it may be, will help. Even Cass has realized he knows how to speak now. Because if you've heard him over the last couple of weeks when Enzo's been attacked, he's really been good. Baron, I don't give a fuck.
I mean, if Corbin had a mouthpiece, he'd probably be the total package for WWE right now.
I don't know. Anyway, this builds because Sami Zayn comes out. Because both the heels beat down Nakamura. So again, he's looking like fucking nothing. And, we get Zayn and Nakamura versus Owens and Corbin. Which isn't too bad. Zayn managing to clothesline Corbin over the top rope. Nakamura hits the Kinshasa on Owens. And Nakamura and Zayn win. I don't know. How many we're getting more shit like this? So now it's time to go to the Usos. And it says people are a little salty because we're still tag champs. Maybe they thought American Alpha or Breezango would be the champs. Just like everyone thought the Falcons would beat the Patriots. And here comes New Day. And then we all realize that's why the other two didn't win. Because they're fucking losing to the New Day. Because Vince loves New Day. Apart from that thing that 1/3 of them did a few years back that got leaked.
Like it was mentioned before, and like we've said numerous times, no matter if you are locked into a storyline, if something happens and something gets over organically, you should be able to venture off course. Vince doesn't get this at all and never has. Unless his hand is forced. Zack Ryder, Daniel Bryan, those are good examples. But usually, if he's got his heart set on something, it doesn't matter how over a team or a superstar is. Supposed to lose to make sure the golden boy gets his shot down the line and wins the championship. That's going to happen. I like the New Day a lot. Like I said, I met Xavier Woods at Horror Nights last year. Super nice guy. And I've heard great things about Big E and Kofi. But I don't care about the Usos versus the New Day. I wanted Fandango and Tyler Breeze to get a short run, even if they were transitional champions, just to prove that WWE had a little bit of guts to change the game a little bit. But it's business as usual. The matches will be fine. It's just I want something new. I want something fresh. And I'm not talking about Jinder Mahal.
Oh, we're talking about the Usos that don't know whether they're the Young Bucks or LAX.
They're the Gorillas of Destiny, basically. The PG version of the Gorillas of Destiny now.
The Gorillas of Damn.
That's fine.
But Xavier says we're back, and since we're on SmackDown, no better place to return than in Xavier's hometown of Atlanta. And that the world-class hips have to lay in front. And Jimmy and Jay are like, you got lost skipping on the yellow brick road, man? And Kofi says, well, it's more of a skip and a clap, so it's not entirely that. And Jimmy says, well, we got the tag division on lock. And Jay says, well, welcome to the Uso Penitentiary. So that's just stupid. But of course, Big E makes it look stupid by going, we know what happens in a penitentiary. We likes the belts. We wants the belts. Like, yes. Fuck this gimmick in particular. Yes.
Oh my God.
And Xavier says, well, we can do this the easy way or the hard way. And Kofi said, and your answer better be yes. And Jay's like, wake up out this fairy tale because it's going to get real. No, we run the show. And Xavier goes, wow, you run the show? Really? Apparently there's some bloke called Shane that runs the show. And apparently the Usos have got some very interesting opponents at Money in the Bank. But who? So, yeah. Finally, the Usos are dropping the belts of the New Day.
Oh, great. Here we go again.
I prefer to see it on them. An actual, because they've been away for a bit, what they did was actually entertaining. Don't get me wrong, in a few months' time, I'll be going, when will it end? But there could be some interesting teams that I think could be showing up eventually. Because at the minute, the tag division, apart from Breezango, is shit.
Yep.
On that side. Speaking of, it's time for Fandango to be profiled and says the fashion world isn't all glitz and glamour. Sometimes it gets ugly.
I love
So
this.
now we go film noir, bloody good German Black Dahlia style. Now, I've always had a private eye for fashion. My partner let the biggest fashion felons, the Yogos, slip through their fingers. But where do we go from here? And then his office door is ajar, and then it's been destroyed. And Fandango goes, freeze, dirtbag! And then the woman pulls off her hair and goes, Breeze bag. Yep. Tyler Breeze is dressed as a woman.
Seriously, I've been saying this for a long time. Why don't they just use this opportunity to put Summer Rae back with Fandango and Tyler Breeze?
And then it gets better, though, because they're going, oh, my God. I can't believe what this person's doing. And Breeze is like, I can't believe what they're doing either. And Fandango's like, wait, I can hear his internal monologues. And Tyler's like, I can hear his internal monologues too.
I love this so much.
Yes. And Fandango's like, look, we got too close to that title. And smells off some fancy cologne. And Breeze is like, are you thinking what I'm thinking? And Fandango goes, yeah, I like your dress. And Breeze goes, no, we've got our next case. It's like, what? Who's writing this? Then at the same time is writing This Is Your Life, Bailey.
Oh my God, 2 different brands, and it shows. Logan.
That's the sad thing is, other than the head writer, the other writers are all working on the same shows.
Right.
They haven't split off so many to do SmackDown and so many to do Raw. The pool of 20-something just hands it over to the head writer, who then hands it over to Vince.
So Logan has a good point, and I'm sure everybody is asking this question right now. Where's American Alpha right now?
Did one of them get injured?
I don't think so.
Unless the idea for SummerSlam will be New Day versus Alpha, which could be a very good match.
Face versus face.
In all honesty. And then we got Naomi wishing all the women luck, because it doesn't matter who wins, because whoever it is, they will feel the glow. So it's the Fatal 5-Way, except the referee can't even start the match because everybody's beating the shit out of everybody. They're all doing shit with announce tables and stairs and everything. All 5 of them are dead, practically. They all get taken out in various bits, not even in the ring. So then Shane's music plays. And, rather than coming out and being serious, he just does his fucking dance. Yeah, your entire women's division, apart from Naomi, just murdered. What? And Shane's like, this is amazing. The women's division is on fire. No, it isn't. It's in fucking traction. Everyone's so focused on being number 1 contender that the match didn't even begin. So, since the competition is crazy, let's do something crazy. Let's do something historic crazy. We're having a first ever female Money in the Bank match. And I'm going, why didn't you do this in the first place, you stupid cunts? You've literally wasted 10 minutes of just this random fucking beating to everybody by everybody. What? Also, in an interesting development since this is happening, Madame Lana wants in the match. Which I'm going, fucking yes, please. Then we might have somebody in this match that I fucking want to see win.
Right.
Because Charlotte, she's been at the top too fucking long. Natalia should just be with her husband. Tamina should probably just go to NXT and train the upcoming divas. Because that may be a reason why Nia Jax is so shit. Because she didn't get training from Tamina. Carmella should just go being back to not... I'm guessing she's the one that isn't the wrestler, is she?
Yeah, to say the least.
She came from the non-wrestling background. It's amazing. She comes from a non-wrestling background and hasn't really got any better. Yeah, Sasha Banks, who started off really shit, is now really good. Except she's now really shit again. Because Vince hates black people. I said it.
I know you did. And it's not the first time you said it.
No. Well, I find it interesting that what they represent as black is rock. Just because his dad was Rocky Johnson. Therefore, quoting bloody Rock's bloody line from SNL, look, you can vote for me because I represent whatever race you think you are, because that's what I am. Harsh, but at least he gets it as well. And Becky's the one I feel sorry for, because like she actually has the wrestling background from Ireland and everything. So no, Charlotte wasn't even a wrestler. Natalia probably is better than all this. You know, it says half of the women's division is sort of not worth it. I don't want to say that about Charlotte, but we've had enough of her. Can she just actually have a fucking break? Or does she have to be in the bloody title hunt for the entire duration of her career because her surname's Flair? Even Stephanie got fucking 2 months off being so-called injured. Even the boss's daughter gets time off, but, you know, Charlotte Flair, fuck you. Get the whip out. Anyway, Tyler's in his dress still, as he's with Fandango to take on the Colons, I guess. And they basically sort of, well, they pull off Tyler's hair and try and take off the wig and everything, but eventually gets taken out, and Breeze sort of has to go, or sort of gets injured and goes underneath the apron. And then later on, somehow the janitor is back, tags in, does the hot tag. Primo goes to use the mop after getting it off Breeze, but Fandango takes it off him, hits an unprettier with the mop, and Breeze and Fandango win. If we're doing this now with other tag teams and whatever, I have less of a problem. Hopefully. And then they hype up AJ and Dolph. And then Orton comes out. And Orton introduces himself and says he's beaten the best, like Foley, Undertaker, HBK, Triple H, all those sort of guys. My dad was in the main event of WrestleMania 1. And if my granddad was alive today, he'd have slapped the hell out of me for losing to Jinder. His grandfather was a man who would do things. And there needs to be respect, and it goes both ways. Jinder thinks he's earned my respect, but the only thing he's earned is an Orton family ass kissing. Whoa. He may not be able to show his face in his hometown if he doesn't win. Yeah, I can ask any of the greats, and they'll say winning is the only option. And Randy says, I won't stop talking because at Money at the Bank, I'm going to become champ for the 14th time. And Jinder appears on the Tron saying, you're just like every other ignorant American, Randy, telling stories about a bygone era. Your country's in decay.
I don't think you should have chosen that word, Jinder. I don't think you should have chosen that word. You live on the coattails of what once was. Behold the present, behold the future. Behold Jinder Mahal. So you fucking ruin a good Orton promo with Jinder boasting at the end. Because I still think that Jinder has the talking skills of a fidget cube. None. He doesn't even have the charisma to say that he is a bona fide champion. You know, furthermore proving that they put the title on him because they want money from fucking India. A fucking irony of that as well is that you didn't know. India gets the pay-per-views for free. So they didn't even make any fucking money off the Backlash shit. Also, Jinder Mahal t-shirts out now. Guess what? You can't buy it in India. So you want everybody in India to support. And also the weird thing is, all the razzmatazz and support they're giving to Jinder is what a face would be getting. And he's getting support like a face.
It's Bret Hart.
But he's supposed to be the bad guy.
He's Bret Hart. You remember when Bret Hart was the babyface in Canada and he was the heel everywhere else? That's exactly what Jinder Mahal is right now. And he's Canadian,
it's
so
the
it ties
opposite way
in.
round. I've heard nothing from India, whether good nor bad, and everybody in America is beginning to like him now. Just because he isn't Randy Orton. This tells you how fucking stale it's been. You know, this new champion that I don't think is worth it, people are accepting because he isn't the same fucking names all the time like Cena or Orton. You know, Orton's stock got fucked when he won at WrestleMania against Wyatt.
That was a mistake. That was a huge mistake.
And then, of course, the bloody House of Horrors match, where one, the title wasn't even on the line, and two, bloody Jinder interfered, making Randy look even more fucking incompetent. Are we trying to basically retire Randy Orton? Does this mean Randy Orton's going to TNA? Then Loki's going, just you fucking wait.
Well, I mean, Randy Orton did do something really cool this week that was in the news with the RKO and his kid in the pool.
Yeah, he's bloody trying to murder his own step siblings or whatever. Fucking hell. And then we get Ziggler and AJ, which, as you'd expect, really good match. Except the finish completely fucking ruined everything.
Ooh.
Because AJ goes for the non-mortal forearm, but Ziggler crotches him, hits a super kick, and Ziggler wins. 50-50 booking, everybody! Go fuck yourself! That's Smackdown. What is this fucking obsession? Nobody can have the upper hand. Except, by the rule of thumb, we know that Roman and Joe aren't winning on Sunday because of what happened on Raw. There isn't any 50-50 booking, but everybody that wins in the show before a pay-per-view, more likely than not, isn't. Actually, further proving 50-50 booking. Thanks, Vince. You know, no wonder your viewership's going down. People are seeing the same shit week in and week out. Thank God for GTV.
Thank you. Thank God for GTV. Exactly.
Thank God for the actual, oh, wait, we don't know what's happening here. We've got to try and figure it out ourselves. Mystery. Even Billy Hercule Poirot, Miss Marple, and Sherlock are going together and going, well, I can see this coming a mile off. Oh. With most of it, but this mystery thing, even they're like, Even Poirot is like, I don't know what's going on. Speaking of I don't know what's going on, Lucha Underground's coming up later. But first...
We've got a bit before that.
205, actually sort of live.
Yep, 205.
And we're starting off with Noam Dar. I want to take everybody to have a good look at him and Alicia, because this is the closest you'll ever get to true love. Really? Have you told her you're going over to fucking Glasgow? Or is it Edinburgh? I'm trying to remember. Next month? Is she coming? Methinks no. And Alicia's like, what we have is unbreakable. And you complete me, Gnome. Swan and Sasha are just friends with no benefits at all. They're hoax and jokes. And true love will conquer all when they win on Sunday. And Alicia says she can't wait to get revenge on Swan as he tried to make her look like a fool. No, I think the fool is creative writing stuff for Alicia because they realize, look, can she just fucking retire like Cameron, please? And then Rich Swan comes out and says, "Oh, true love." And then Sasha's like, "Well, you just look like a hot mess, guys. The bond we have as friends is more genuine than what you have as supposed lovers." Because, you know, we love dancing, we love fashion, and we love beating the shit out of Alicia and Noam. And then they start talking about hair, the women. And then the men go, we don't fucking care, let's fight. The great thing is, they do the fucking angle exactly the opposite way to the way they did it on Monday. Well, admittedly, Sasha still get Alicia down. She took her down and grabbed a handful of hair from her. But instead, this time, Dar managed to avoid the Phoenix Splash and hit his running kick and get the 3 count. Dar wins. 50-50 booking. So then we got Cedric Alexander in the back, asked about everything, especially Alicia and Dar, and says, look, the Extreme Fools will get what they deserve on Sunday. You know, I haven't rehabbed my knee for 3 months to rehash old things. I've got to make up for lost time. So here's Cedric taking on Corey Hollis, which is not a surprise because we're in sort of Carolina area, so we're going to have a guy from CWF or PWX and all that. I'm pretty sure this happened in one of those 2 promotions when Cedric was there. Cedric wins with the lumbar check. I'd say a squash match, which it sort of was, because you knew he was winning because he was the one that, you know, you've established on the roster, but Corey still put on a pretty good match. They then recapped Cesaro and Kendrick with a fight again for reasons. And once again, Drew is out now with his megaphone and board, saying it's a no-fly zone. Except Ali attacks him from behind as we get into the match between the 2 of them. Which, it's interesting. Ali hits his crossbody, but Gulak rolls it through and actually gets the pinfall. So Gulak wins. And Gulak's asked afterwards about his win and says, that win wasn't for me. It was for everybody who thinks that this is what the future of 205 Live should be. Showboating doesn't win. I won with efficiency. High flying does not pay. Staying grounded is the way. No. So now Aries is showing up and says, look, it seems I'm a popular guy because since last night, social media has been going crazy. And it's not because of my book being now available to pre-order on Amazon. It's because of the tap heard around the world. And last night, everybody around the world all saw, well, apart from blind people, way to be discriminatory, Austin. He locked a last chancery on Neville, and Neville tapped out. The king of the cruiserweights, he tapped out. You know, the man who says no one else is on the Neville level, tapped out. The man who says he cannot be stopped, tapped out. And then they recap it in super slow motion. And Aries says, look, the first time Neville was going to tap, he found some desperate way to survive. At WrestleMania, thumb in the eye. Payback, get the referee. And then Neville shows up and says, look, he got his lucky last night. It's a miracle moment. And, you know, this is how you carry yourself. You know, like all the Vernon here tonight, you have no decorum. You are a disease on the face of this brand. That's why on Sunday, the king of the cruiserweights will eradicate you once and for all by inflicting insufferable agony. It's my kingdom, and it's always been mine, and you've outlived your welcome. Then TJ attacks him from behind. Aries does hit him with a discus 5-arm, but Neville comes with a drop kick to the knee. Perkins holds Aries. Neville yells at him, kicks Aries in the knee more again, so he has to bow, and then puts the rings and Saturn on him while Perkins kicks away at him. The officials only then decide to show up to try and stop it. And of course, the way the officials do it, they wave their arms as if it's they're bringing a plane in. Oh, no, stop. Neville eventually relinquishes, but yeah. The clever thing about this is you've got double fuckery there. So I really don't know what's happening on Sunday. Because looking at that, I'd say Aries wins. Then again, nobody watches 205 Live. So logically, Neville wins. But
Right.
I don't know. That's going to be a good old... I think that's the one that I prefer not to give a pick on because I want to be surprised. Because I'd say unless Aries wins, this has to be the end of the feud.
Has to be. This is when we move on to Tozawa.
Well, it doesn't even have to be Tozawa. You know, Cedric could be in with a shout, depending. Because remember, after Extreme Rules, it's... Oh, I guess no, it's not till SummerSlam yet, is it? It'll be 4 weeks till Great Balls of Fire. So I guess you could have Cedric in between. Unless it was Aries winning and then the rematch at Great Balls of Fire. And then Aries versus Tozawa. Fuck yes!
There we go. I'm down with that.
Then again, I think it would also be better if it was Neville because there's history there. They could go to Dragon Gate Japan and go, can we have your footage, please? And they'll go, no! There you go. That's 207 Live because they're allowing an extra £2 because it was Memorial Day.
Well, let's speak on another promotion now, as I can still hear myself. That's why I'm not trying to talk as much.
Oh, no! I'm not going to be able to fix that unless I turn off the speakers, but then I can't hear you.
So we have a little
Anyway.
Impact Wrestling now.
Yes. I guess I've got to speak way closer into the mic so you So Bruce Pritchard's coming to the ring, his ribs, Tyrus in tow. So it's like, he's a bouncer for everybody? Like, what? Violence with management isn't acceptable, and EC3's actions will be dealt with. Yeah, by giving him a strap match. But now he wants to get down to the matter at hand, and that's the Impact title. And Bobby Lashley comes out and says it's about dominance. I don't care about a game being played by a bunch of nobodies. I'm the franchise player. Well, considering the story about the M-word being sprayed on LeBron James's house, I don't think a game being played by a bunch of nobodies is actually correct. In all response. Because I'm guessing that's what he's going against. Because of what they were going up against on television last week. Yeah, the only issue is who he gets to beat up at Slammiversary. And everyone goes, hang on. Alberto won the... Isn't it him? And EC3 comes out. And just, I'm going to become number one contender. And then Magnus shows up and says, I'm going to become number one contender. And then James Storm shows up and says he will. And Pritchard says, all right, triple threat. The winner faces a champion at Slammiversary. But then Bruce sweetens the pot and says, hell, it'll be a no DQ match. But if anybody touches each other before, there won't be a match. And they'll be suspended indefinitely. Then we've got EC3 backstage saying the triple threat was named after him. And he's going to take James Storm out for a drink in the form of a bottle smashed over his head. Nice! So now it's time for KM and Congo versus Sutter and Shearer. This could have been a good match. But basically, Ali beats the shit out of Sienna and Laurel. Kong headbutts Shearer while all that stuff's going on outside. And Kevin Matthews rolls him up. So rather than, actually having a match, nope. No. Way to build up Shearer strong for the Indian tapings, guys. Make him look like a fucking weak guy against Congo and... So then, interestingly, all the blokes decide to beat the shit out of each other into the back. Sienna and Laurel keep beating up Ali. But then Rosemary comes out, and the bad girls, the heels are like, oh, nice, she's going to help us. And then Miss Sienna picks Laurel up, gives her the red wedding. And Rosemary and Ali have an uncomfortable little stare down. Probably because they're going, we fucked each other before. Impact are going, you've never seen this before! Honest! Ignore everything fucking else! So it's brilliant. They're doing stuff themselves, which is good angle for sort of the fans that know their shit. But everybody else is going, why the fuck is Ali unsettled by Rosemary when she helped her? Good job, guys.
Well, it's one of those things.
Now,
it's one of those things, Ashley, that you do realize that most of the Impact audience are a smarter crowd. So most of them know about their past. And that's the reason why there was a very minor reaction, but there was a reaction when they had their stare down, because anybody that knows their background completely understands why that was bizarre that even happened in the first place.
So now it's time for the GFW title semi-final. After the first round last week with LAX winning. So it's the Volunteers of War or Veterans or who knows.
Veterans of
It
War.
clearly must have been Volunteers because I don't remember Crimson having a military background the last time. Taking on Bakara and Falabar, which, is quickly done. And it's an okay match, but the VOW just seemed like a team that I don't really give a shit about.
I definitely don't.
Bakara gets killed by the Veterans. So then Magnus is backstage saying, I'm going to be world champ at Slammiversary. And then it's time. So Matthews wants Borash to join him in the ring. And says, look, I've made a lot of mistakes and I've been trying to atone for them. I apologize to Tenay for taking his job. I unblocked Dave Penza. Now I want to apologize to you, JB. And Park's there and advising Borash, not to shake his hand. And Josh just loses it and says, I'm sick of this. I should be the lead announcer instead of giving these two idiots the rub. My partner will be revealed when I'm good and ready. But Park says, well, we won't wait. We can do it right now. And Josh goes, you're a fat, disgusting slob. So we prompt you match. The bell fucking rings. And they start circling each other. And then
Who the fuck let this cunt back in the building? Seriously?
Okay, now here's another thing. How was Steiner's reaction with the live crowd, with the crowd on television? How did it come off?
it was sort of like, to some extent, stunned silence because of the bad. It was sort of like, wait, he's here? It wasn't sort of a massive mark out thing, at least from what I could tell, unless they added it in, which they clearly could have.
I can assure you there was a decent reaction when Steiner came out because everybody, stunned silence is a good way to put it.
Because I will be honest. Technically, I haven't been officially been able to see this because LOL TNA. Last week's episode that was broadcast on the UK television channel was the week before's episode. So to make up for it, they're showing last week's episode this Friday at the usual time, and then following it straight up after with this week's episode.
Yeah, I heard about that.
So 4 hours of Impact, everybody. Fuck. Then again, if you bother to then stay up for another 12 hours, you'll be able to watch Best of the Super Junior finals and watch real wrestling. Ooh. It's sort of... It was probably stunned silence to me because I was like, wow, they really think that he's a big draw. The only reason he's here is because his restaurant fucking failed.
It was a Shoney's.
So yeah, that's a pay-per-view match. They think that some of you fuckers are gonna pay to see Jeremy Borash and Joseph Park take on Josh Matthews and Scott Steiner. Depending how many matches are on the card, if I was to pay for it, can I ask for a percentage of it back? Because I'm not paying for that match.
That makes two of us. I'm going to the building to watch it live.
If there's 8 matches, I think we need a 12.5% discount.
Except for people that attend live, they don't have to pay to get in. So, you know,
Yep, you're
what's
correct.
12.5% of 3? Actually, depending how he looks, because obviously he's got a whole month to tone himself. Can you try and get one chant going?
Oh God.
He's fat. Depending on his shape. If Scott Steiner doesn't look in good shape, just go, he's fat.
I don't feel comfortable with Scott Steiner being around me as it is. I don't want to try to infuriate him when he's right next to me.
No, because then if he attacks you, then you can sue him for assault. $250,000. Then he'll have to open up another restaurant to make up the fucking money, which will shut down because he can't make the fucking money. He'll go into bankruptcy. So then Moose says, how good it's been to be grand champion and how much it sucks to keep getting attacked from behind. He's defending the title with honor. And then Mackenzie's interviewing Eli Drake and asks about what he's been doing the past few weeks. And Drake says, look, I may not talk and act like you want, but I was backed into a corner. And when people do that, I make a loud noise. You know, Moose tried to get in on me, but security holds me back. Well, you know, Moose tried to basically get involved, but security holds him back. And Drake's going, look, it's nothing personal. Just in the wrong place at the wrong time. And challenges Moose to defend the title next week and says, okay. And Drake attacks him, Moose, and then Chris Adonis attacks Moose, and it's like, so who's your fucking bodyguard now, Drake? Is it Tyrus or is it Chris? Or is it both? Or is it neither? No wonder fucking WWE let you go. And then it's fucking... It's Eddie and Alicia versus Angelina Love and the CZW World Champion. We'll get to that. Fucking hell. Interestingly, the actual faces of Eddie and Alicia actually get the win because Angelina goes for the Botox injection, but Alicia manages to sidestep it and roll Love up. Eddie hugs his wife. Davey and Angelina beat the crap out of him. Eddie gets handcuffed to the ropes, chokes him out, and then they get a table. And Angelina powerbombs Alicia through the table. Am I supposed to give a fuck about this? Because, you know, thank God Angelina had her kid. Otherwise, you know, we might have a bloody bad bloody mother. Are we implying now with this then that Angelina Love didn't save any money when she was in, Impact for the last decade? Despite getting pregnant. Then it gets even better because fucking Spud's here in the hospital and says, look, I know I'm supposed to be in the Impact Zone this week, but my doctor, who I trust very much, a UK doctor, says I need one more week. I'll be back and I will get my revenge. And then some like, and Spud just goes, Mom, I'm trying to do an interview. Kayfabe. What the fuck is going on? And I don't want to answer that. That'd be fucking over. And then it's Magnus, Storm, and EC3. Good match as you'd expect with the three. Of course, though, this is exactly the same fucking finish that ended up on Raw. Which is weird because, of course, this aired before Raw did. Oh, look, WWE stealing ideas off TNA. Might be evidence of it this time. Because Storm hit Magnus with the last call. EC3 threw Storm out the ring. Covers Magnus. EC3 wins. And EC3 is going to Slammiversary as challenger to Bobby Lashley. Even though they've established that it's going to be Alberto. So does that mean it's a triple threat? Spoilers. Strap match. Oh. Thanks, Impact. Thanks. And then we get to the spoilers, which isn't... It won't be airing, I think, until next week, because we've still got 1 week's worth of stuff to air.
Oh, it's so annoying when I hear myself. So I've got tapings for June 15th and June 22nd right now. And then the tapings just concluded that are going to be running the day 2 tapings.
Yeah, so the day 1 tapings, you know, I don't know what order these are, but we'll just sort of go through them. Loki took on Caleb Conley, but there was a bit in this match where Loki bled sort of near his eye. And Sanjay Dutt comes out with an eye patch saying, "You remember me?" No, because of course he took a similar injury and says, how nice. I guess you know how it feels. We wrestled back at the Elks Lodge. Oh shit.
Yeah.
They're bringing up other companies.
Yeah, they are. It gets better.
There's no Homicide or Hit Squad to hold them back. We're in Mumbai, India. If you're a man of honor, Loki, I'll get a title match. And it's like, okay. So then we get Vinash Verma versus Davey Richards. Which Davey just wins relatively easy with an ankle lock submission. Then afterwards, Indian bloke gets whipped the fuck out of by EC3. Great. All this up and coming Indian talent. Fuck him.
James Storm makes the save.
Rosemary beats Laurel with a roll up. Then Ali makes the save with a kendo stick. And interestingly, Rosemary grabs the kendo stick out of Ali and instead of attacking her with it, drops it and smiles. And Ali looks scared as shit. Again, we're doing stuff from Smash Wrestling, everybody. Fuck TNA. Can we just have this, please? Can we rather than having all these knockout matches with, you know, Sienna who's talented, Rosemary who's talented, Ali who's talented, and Chelsea Green. I can't add anything. Then bloody here comes Ethan Singh 3. Now I have my lineage. My great grandfather was born in India and a full-blooded Indian. You're with me and I'm with you. You know, India is a land of rich cultural opportunity. You know, Impact is making history in India. I'm rich and I don't see culture in a third world hellhole. When it comes to history, I'm not here to create it. I'm here to destroy it. I'm here to find zen and tranquility. Instead, I've found despair and anger. Sony and Impact deserve each other because they're just like the people out here. All right. My name's EC3. I'm the best guy here, the best guy there. In a country of 1.3 billion, I'm the best anywhere. Oh, wait. So we're stealing Bret Hart quotes. And like he wants a translator who's been with him all this time to translate. And the translator's just like, nope. So he bloody whips with his belt the translator. So I don't know. That's really going to fucking work with non-Indian bloody people watching. Then Josh Matthews is out with his goat shirt and says, you know who Scott Steiner is? 1 million people watched on YouTube. Yeah, how much money did you make off that? $10? I handpicked my opponent. He was in the 2008 Indian Olympic team in the Bollywood film Sultan, and introduces Sandeep, who's this fat bloke that's wearing a singlet. And he actually starts like doing wrestling and stuff. And bloody wins with a swanton bomb and a Steiner recliner. Seriously? So then Shearer comes out. Botches a fucking lift. Just as something as simple as that. Lashley then comes out, attacks Shearer. And then Alberto comes out and clears the ring. So why the fuck did Shearer get involved? Other than it was an Indian bloke?
That's it.
So then it's Trevor Lee and Braxton Sutter. Which Sutter wins with the Pepper Shaker neckbreaker. Oh, brilliant. If that's what we're actually calling it, that's fucking funny. Because I wouldn't call it the Braxton Sutter neckbreaker or something.
I mean, it's the Pepper Shaker neckbreaker, and they've never, to my knowledge,
that's referencing the name that you're not supposed to know him as.
Well, it doesn't matter. You still could technically use it as a finisher name, but they haven't named it for Braxton Sutter yet. So until that is the case, the Golden Gate Spin is going to be the Pepper Shaker neckbreaker.
So Sienna and Laurel show up and say, look, why are you wearing a beanie? It's 150 degrees. And I'm going, I'm at this minute, I'm trying to, thinking about it. If 30 something is 100 Fahrenheit, 150. Because I'm sorry, I actually look at the weather for certain places on the world map. If it's 150, that means it'd have to be roughly around 50 Celsius. And the hottest Mumbai's been recently is about 42. 42 would not scale up 50 degrees Fahrenheit. If it had 115, perhaps. So I guess it depends on whether it was heard properly. Since Ali wants to act like a wrestler, she can be a wrestler. Her and her pal Rosemary. And basically, you think Rosemary will show up? We'll see. Except we already know that because she came out earlier. So now it's time for the Sony 6 Invitational 10-man gauntlet match. With Suicide, Matt Sydal, Kevin Matthews, Swoggle, Eddie Edwards, going through the list, Spud. Of course, we're doing that shit.
Congo Kong, Moose, and Marabali Shearer at number 10. And basically, it comes down to Kevin and Shearer. And Kevin goes for the pump handle slam, countered into the sky high. Shearer wins the Indian tournament. Who the fuck knew?
And the crowd goes mild.
Well, no, they probably went fucking crazy because they went, Jinder won! And he went, I'm Marabali Shearer. And he's like, who the fuck are you?
I've
So
never
Moose
liked this guy.
and says, 2 weeks ago, I successfully defended the Impact Grand Championship against a dummy. Oh, by the way, spoilers. When I came to Impact, I was fed bullshit, says Eli Drake, who shows up. By the old regime, and now with Pritchard, nothing's changed. And this cross-eyed heart has got a title that he doesn't deserve. And basically, Moose basically says, do you want to see me beat the crap out of him? Or you want me to see me beat the crap out of both Drake and Adonis at Slammiversary? And, Eli Drake says, well, let's go 2-on-1. And Moose says, well, I've got a partner of my own, but you'll find out. I bet it's fucking Scott Steiner. Like last time. So then Alberto's like amazed and whatever by the response that he's getting from the fans. A few weeks away from Slammiversary, and he'll become undisputed Impact champ. And here comes Lashley. And they're going to, basically they're going to be having them defend the titles against mystery opponents. So Lashley takes on Moose, which Lashley wins with a spear. Then Alberto's taking on Chris Adonis, which Alberto wins with his double foot stomp from the corner, which is practically impossible. And Alberto and Moose make the save after Eli and Adonis attack Alberto. So does that mean Alberto's like the? So Alberto's wrestling twice? What? And then Sanjay Dutt wins the X Division title off Loki. So yeah, they decide to let him win it in India. So all you Impact Wrestling fans out there, if you wanted to see it, get a fucking plane ticket. He's so proud to be TNA, he went and won it in another country. That are probably just on their fucking phones wondering what's happening on Smackdown. Because of when this was recorded. Because it would have been just as Smackdown was going on air. So literally they were going up against Jinder. So who knows? So what happened day 2? If you want to do the short version, you can do, Owen, but
I can. Don't worry. Mute yourself so I don't have to hear myself.
hang on.
Is that going to fix it? I don't know.
Oh my god, that was horrible. Okay, I think I might have fixed it. Yep. Totally did. We get a Sanjay Dutt Championship celebration with Punjabi dancer. God dang it.
Sorry, who's stealing who?
Yeah, but I like Sanjay Dutt. Sanjay comes out with the talentless Mahabali Shera. Took 15 years to win the X Division title and did it in front of his hometown crowd. Thanks, everyone. Promises to be the greatest X Division champion of all time. Here comes Low Ki. Sanjay's like, I hope you're here to congratulate me. And he's like, indeed, I am here to congratulate you. But you got lucky, and you made use of that luck to become the champion. He says he truly feels the rightful place of the X Division Championship is around his waist. And since he gave Sanjay a matchup on his request, it's only fair that Sanjay returns the favor. Sanjay says, oh my God, yes. Sanjay agrees and says they will face each other in a 2 out of 3 falls matchup at Slammiversary. Yeah. Owen gets to see that live. Low Ki shakes Sanjay's hand, then attacks him and Shera because Shera's useless. He hits the Warrior's Way on Shera, and he tries to go the same thing to Sanjay, but here comes Bat Side Out to make the save. Low Ki powders.
Random.
We get Swoggle chasing Rockstar Spud. They go through the crowd. Spud says, kiss my ass, and he runs away.
What?
I just love this. We had Allie and Rosemary against Laurel Van Ness and Sienna. So Sienna and Laurel come out. Allie comes out. Here comes Rosemary, but she doesn't come out when her music plays. So Rosemary attacks Sienna and Laurel from behind when they're stalking towards Allie at the entranceway. Here comes KM. Here comes Braxton to even the odds. He fights into the back. Laurel hits the blackout on Rosemary, and Sienna gets the win over the Knockouts champion. KM versus Mahabali Shera. Doctors try to stop him from going out. KM attacks him. He goes for the pin. Shera kicks out. KM goes for the pump handle set out facebuster. And Shera counters, hits the sky high, gets the win because we're in India. Here comes Congo Kong. They double team Shera. KM nails the finish again. Congo hits the top rope splash. Shera gets help to the back. Life is good again. Trevor Lee, Davey Richards, Suicide, Braxton Sutter, Eddie Edwards, Sony 6 X Division Invitational with elimination rules. Obviously, yeah, this is the X Division Invitational. We had I'm going to guess we're going to have a tag team invitational coming up on day 3.
No, that's it.
Okay, maybe not then. Suicide eliminates Braxton. Trevor takes out Suicide. Davey gets disqualified for hitting Eddie with a steel chair. More Full Metal Mayhem setups. Eddie gets disqualified for hitting Davey with a chair. Seidel wins with a shooting star press on Trevor Lee.
Why is it that fucking 60% of the people that are in this invitational match were also in the main one?
Because they didn't bring over that many superstars to work this tour.
So why did they have a second invitational thing?
I mean,
6 of the 10 are in both divisions, apparently.
I can't answer that because I do not know.
Just an observation. Well, it's just like they clearly couldn't afford to take anybody else fucking there. So
No.
Why didn't they get in Indian enhancement talents to just be sort of jobbers in the match?
Yeah.
Or does Sony 6 want them to have competitive shit?
I don't know. Eli Drake comes out with Chris Adonis. He says he hears it when he sleeps. He hears it when he eats. Moose, moose, moose. The crowd chants for Moose. Adonis is like, you really like Moose, huh? That chump doesn't deserve to be in the same country, let alone the same ring as me and Eli. Eli goes, Moose is out here running his mouth and putting his nose in our business. Fans chant Eli sucks. This guy has a partner. Moose rhymes with Bruce, jokes about Bruce Pritchard being his tag partner. He tells Moose to shut the hell up and needs him to be a man like Adonis and himself. He needs Moose to walk down that aisle. Here comes Moose. He says for the first time Eli's not a dummy, but he can't say the same for Chris. Moose is like, Eli's right. He doesn't have a partner. All his friends are tied up. Eddie has Full Metal Mayhem against Davey. Alberto has his hands full with Lashley. Even Rosemary has to get ready for Sienna. Eli said it's going to be 2-on-1. Moose's partner is going to be D'Angelo Williams. They look at the entrance. No one comes out. And Eli and Chris lay out Moose.
Hang on.
Okay. No, I'm not going to hang on. There's no need at this point.
Why does that name... Why do I recognize that name?
Wasn't that one of the people that did the body slam when Moose...
Was that one of his football friends?
I have a feeling it is.
Oh, for fuck's sake. Where's Ernest the Cat Miller and James Brown?
I can't answer that anymore because I do not know.
Where's the Kiss Demon?
God.
We're
probably coach.
on that. We're verging on that, Mr. Russo.
Probably coaching some sort of a baseball game somewhere in the South. Anyway, so we get a presentation to Matt Sydal for the Sony 6 X Division Invitational Trophy with the CEO of Sony Pictures Network, Bruce Pritchard, and Scott D'Amore. EC3 and Lashley against James Storm and Alberto El Patron. So basically it goes back and forth for a while. Storm sees a belt in the ring. He goes to use it. Lashley stops him. EC3 and Lashley go back and forth. Hot tag Alberto. He comes in, and EC3 gets mad at the count from Brian Stifler, so he whips him. Brian Hebner comes out for the disqualification, and then they fight outside. Alberto chases Lashley away with a chair and celebrates with the GFW and Impact Championships in the crowd. Same thing he does at the Impact tapings here. So we get Trevor Lee and Low Key against Matt Sydal and Sanjay Dutt. So Sydal gets the win on the Shooting Star Press. They do a contract signing for Slammiversary. Rosemary and Sienna both sign. Sienna's like, you think you're so clever. This is the dumbest thing you've ever done. Rosemary's like, you know what? That was very compelling. But tonight you may have signed the contract, but all it means is it's Slammiversary. You sign your death certificate with your own blood. We get the Full Metal Mayhem contract signing with Davey and Angelina versus Eddie and Alicia. Davey says, you're going to have to kill me because it's Slammiversary. I'm going to bury you. Eddie's like, I'm going to beat your ass right where it started. James Storm comes out. He's angry. He has to be held back by JB and Bruce Pritchard. EC3's like, I feel disconnected. And I lash out with this. He lashes out for you. He lashes out for this company. He lashes out for these people. The last emotion that is of disgust. He's going to tear Storm's ass piece by piece of the bone, not because he wants to, but because he has to. Because he's a Carter and the world needs them. Storm says, tell your family Storm's going to take that strap and whip him over and over and over and over and over. And when the scars burn, he's going to continue. He's been here for 15 years. He's the cowboy. And of course, sorry about your damn life. So then we get Lashley and Alberto for the champion versus champion match. Lashley's like, talking's over. We know that I'm going to win at Slammiversary. You might as well just hand over the title. So Patron says, why wait? We came all the way from America to India. Lashley has a title. I have a title. Let's do this right here and tonight. It's easy as that. So they fight for a bit. There's a brawl. Pritchard comes out, says everybody wants to fight. Lashley captains a team with Davey, EC3, and Congo Kong. And Alberto can captain a team with Eddie, James Storm, and Mahabali Shera. What in blue hell kind of team is that?
Sorry, I just realized every single one of those fucking matches has a contract signing.
Yes. Yes, it does.
Does that mean we're going to have bloody Impact contract signing in 4 weeks?
Sounds very possible.
Fucking hell.
Oh, it's not over yet, sir. Now it's time for wrestling. We get Eli Drake and Chris Adonis taking on the Mumbai Cats. Don't know. Eli Drake wins with the gravy train.
It's the Bangra Bucks for real this time.
Yeah, so KM, Laurel, and Sienna versus Braxton, Allie, and Rosemary. Rosemary hits the mist on Laurel. Sienna with the AK-47. Rosemary counters Red Wedding 1, 2, 3. After the match, Rosemary stares at Allie, taps her on the head, and smiles. Allie feels happy about this, and then Rosemary taps Braxton on the head. This sounds amazing. Congo, Davey, EC3, and Lashley versus Alberto, Storm, Eddie, and Shera. Shera comes out alone. Heels gang up on him. Here comes Patron with Storm and Eddie. And they go back and forth. Doctors say, Shera can't continue, so they carry him to the back. Thank God. And then Shera gets taken to the back for the match. Midway through, they're working Eddie over. Storm and Alberto are taken out. Shera comes out, and he hits an attitude adjustment on Bobby Lashley.
And his name is
Bobby Shera.
Bangracina.
Oh my God! He slams
I
Kong.
can't think of an Indian name that starts with a J.
Jesus, that's
Jinder.
horrible.
What? I'm a fucking idiot. Jinder Cena.
So Shera goes. Lashley breaks up the pin. Lashley picks up Shera on the shoulders, going for the running power slam. Alberto tags in, takes out Lashley. The hang Kong from the corner, of course, the Warriors Way finishes them off. Face to celebrate. And then the main event. The Mumbai Street Fight. Rockstar Spud versus Swoggle.
They're not putting this on Slammiversary? Oh my fucking God.
I don't know why it's on Slammiversary, to be honest. So the referee is an Indian dwarf. I don't know how this is going to work. This is probably not going to get good heat on the internet. So they fight around the ring. They fight at ringside. Spud with a trash can lid goes for a powerbomb off the ring apron. Swoggle bites Spud's hand. Swoggle gets in the ring, and Spud fights out of an attempt to go through the table. Spud grabs the mic and says, I've got a message for you. This is big man's business. I hate you, Swoggle. The boys in the back hate you, and the people hate you. And here's the secret. I meant to pull your pants down.
What? What? Sorry, say that again.
Don't make me say that again. Not a whole live podcast. I got a message for you. This is a big man's business. I hate Swoggle. The boys in the back hate Swoggle. These people hate Swoggle. And here's the secret. I meant to pull your pants down.
Fucking hell.
So Swoggle teams up with the referee, so they pants Spud for fun. And apparently Spud gets taken to the ring apron, picked up on the shoulders. My guess is Spud, like Spicoli, drove him off the ring apron to a table because they're not really describing. The person that wrote this recap, thank you, by the way, for writing this recap. I believe his name is Himanshu D, and that's how I'm getting these recaps for Impact. And he says he takes Spud to the apron, picks him up on his shoulders, and through the table for the win. Swoggle celebrates with the referee. So is Swoggle face or heel? That's Impact.
The question is, does it fucking matter?
Well, speaking of that, you want to talk about does it matter? Let's go into Impact. Let's go from Impact to Lucha Underground.
No. I think I need to appropriately build into that.
What's the next thing on the show?
I think we found a moment that's even going to fucking top what you're talking about. It simply goes like, I meant to pull your pants down!
Just reading that, I'd like to have seen that live, honestly, to see how people reacted to it. And don't, and
Okay.
again, Ashley, I agree with you. I have no idea why that's not on Slammiversary.
So here we go. After 6 months away, it's time to get back into the lore of Lucha. Except previously on Lucha Underground, remember 6 months ago, Sexy Star got into a feud with Johnny Mundo. Mac came in to save the day, became #1 contender, lost a match, and the match they're going to have is all night long. This was taped 13 months ago. So, episode 20, actually. So we're only now halfway through, 6 months later. So it's going to be basically an Iron Man match, as long as the show goes. Oh, that quote. Oh. So Mac and Mundo are already in the ring, and Striker goes, well, 2 weeks ago they fought, and Mundo won to choose his stipulation, and I'm going, nope, and nope. The sad thing is, despite all this, and this is going to be a continuing trend, at least for the next few weeks, the continuity errors ruin what is a very, very good match. Because, I mean, it's an Iron Man match for the duration of the show, in inverted commas, which is basically somewhere in the region of 40 minutes. Because the thing that ruins it is every time they go for an advert of like 3 or 4 minutes in length, depending on what the sponsors are, time progresses 10 seconds. So when we go into adverts, does time slow in the Lucha Underground universe or something? You know, for the 4 adverts, is it just like, oh shit, what's the coming back from the ends? We're back to action here in Lucha. I just love that. You know, on the final ad break, it was 16 minutes, basically. We're going to ads. When we come back, we'll be straight in and with non-stop action. They come back from ads, clock in the corner, 15 minutes, 47 seconds. I like the fact that you're giving us, you know, everything that apparently is getting shown. But at the same time, it's a bit weird that you basically just press pause on the fucking button when they go to adverts. That'll only make sense for Netflix, but then again, do they have adverts on Netflix? Or not?
I mean,
You're the only one to know, Owen.
Yeah, I mean, no, not really. I mean, when I was
So
watching
in that essence, it makes sense. So when it goes, wah, 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 we're back, it will actually feel like it's 10 seconds. Because that's how long the bloody sting going in and out of the intros is. That's okay. So it'll only make sense to Netflix users, despite the fact that this was done like 8 months before a Netflix deal was even ever signed. So that fucking was lucky. Anyway, Mundo gets the first fall. Very interesting novel way, because basically Mundo is on the outside of the post, and
Mac's trying to grab him from like the turnbuckle bit, and he keeps like swinging up and down and around the post, grabs Mac's leg, jumps back up onto the ropes, hits the end of the world, and gets the pin for the 1-0 lead. Nice little novel thing. Then Mundo gets the second fall with he sort of wraps his leg around Mac's arm, pulls him over to sort of like a Spanish fly pin? Would it be? Where he cradles him with his leg.
Right.
But he sort of wraps around it so he sits on top of him, so then he can grab the rope for leverage.
It would be useful if I would have seen this.
Yeah, I don't know whether there's probably if you go to the GIFs on Twitter, you might be able to find it. Because it got GIFed the hell out of. That's the way I could only keep track of certain things. Mac then brings it back to 2-1 with his chocolate thunder bomb in the middle of the ring. Then Mundo's sort of midway through is like, "Oh, I'm injured, man. My knee's gone. My knee's gone." And the stretcher comes in. Then we get 10 seconds later, after 3 minutes of adverts. And, he's getting dragged out on the stretcher. And Mac sort of like in the corner, like, "Man, I had a chance here." Mundo kips up, attacks him from behind, and hits him with a very beautiful looking DDT from the turnbuckle and takes a 3-1 lead. Also, it's worth noting that during the thing, Melissa apparently still has the hots for Phoenix because she was talking about him when she was drinking her Modelo beer, who also are stealing Eddie Kingston's music, which is good to know. Mac brings it back to 3-for-2 with a stunner, and then the shenanigans happen. The PJ Black comes out disguised as Johnny Mundo. Basically, he runs from underneath the ring, and Mac goes after him, only for Mundo to come out the ring with a kendo stick. Sorry, Singapore cane. Sorry, something. And PJ runs back, and Mac runs back, and Mundo hits him in the back. Then Son of Havoc shows up to make the save. And then there's just like weird kendo stick and shit. Then, he's basically dead, and Havoc goes knocking on Dario's door and says, "I need something, man. And, I need something to wake him up," and passes him a bottle of water. And he's just like, "Come on, man. We know you got the goods." And then out comes 2 random cans of beer. They get poured all over Mac, and he hulks up. And Ricky Mandel and whatever start getting involved as well, dressed as Mundo. And I'm like, wait, he wasn't part of the Ultraviolet Underground. I'm guessing that's to cover for the fact that probably Jack Evans was either injured or not there for that taping. Possibly. But Sexy Star then comes out to even the odds, and this eventually leads to a chocolate thunderbomb through a table, and it goes 3-all with a few minutes left. Here comes the ladder, and gets put up sort of standing sort of near the corner of the ring, and there's a table on the other side. And he puts Mundo on the table, slowly climbs up the ladder, gets up to the top, splashes through the table, crawls over to Mundo,
gets the pin. 1, 2, the bell rings before the ref can count 3. The match ends in a draw. Therefore, Mundo retains. And then here comes Dario, who says, you know what? That match was pretty damn good. But there are no draws in Lucha Underground. So next week, we're going to start all over again. The next fall or submission wins it, even if it takes us all night long. So what we've established is, although it was a great match, it actually meant fuck all. Oh, by the way, also, no law. Can you remember what happened 6 months ago? I think fucking not. That's Lucha. So it's another week for you to work out what the fuck happened in the previous storylines. You know, the glove, Penta. What I really should have done is... Hang on, let's skip it. Previously on Lucha Underground, Penta becomes the champion by beating Prince Puma, who has his career ended, even though he beat Johnny Mundo. Oh, wait, that's spoilers for the next season.
Wow.
20 weeks to go, guys, until that happens. Which felt rushed as it was, even by reading from it. Even though it was taped 13 months ago. The thing is, I am wondering, because it was so far back, will people even fucking remember those spoilers?
Probably not.
That's why they did it. Except, you know, it's on Cage Match.
Great.
Everything that it says is on Cage Match, so it just doesn't tell you which episodes it's in.
Do we have anything on WCPW this week?
Yeah, I've got 2 fucking shows to review. Because we had 2 shows in 2 days, pretty much. So Friday, they aired on tape delay the Canadian leg of the World Cup, which overall was a pretty solid show because of who you had in it.
Right.
Although the first match was a bit weird, Elgin beats Dupree by DQ because Renee basically becomes frustrated with the match. Because, well, let's be honest, Renee Dupree basically is looking like, why the hell did WWE sign him? He's shit. And Elgin is like, oh my God, why haven't WWE signed him? He's phenomenal. You can pretty much tell Elgin's like, do this move, do that move. You know, he's calling the shots. So yeah, he grabs, because he's getting so frustrated, Dupree, he grabs a chair, threatens the referee with it, so we get a DQ. So, you know, we're proving that Rene Dupree, why the fuck is he in this tournament? The irony is, Billy, Tarek wasn't even in this fucking thing, and he would have been a better replacement for Rene Dupree. Honestly. And I'm guessing that Tarek and whoever he was facing match must have been a bonus match that wasn't on the card. Just for the live crowd, so I don't know. Then
Harry Smith beat Frankie the Mobster in a, I don't know, an average match. It was all right, but it wasn't really anything spectacular. And then we had Speedball Mike Bailey versus Brent Banks. Oh shit, son. These two guys have good potential, and they bloody proved it. They put on a very good match. Speedball getting the win with his shooting star double knee drop from the top. And then Kyle O'Reilly versus the Dukes. Which was, for what the first round matches normally are in this competition, this went relatively long.
Good.
And there was sort of humor in it, not massively, but this was like an actual sort of match that you'd want to see on many cards and anything. And Kyle got the win with the cross arm breaker. Considering the matches are now split up, that is certainly the first round match I recommend everybody has to watch, because it was that good. So then we had the internet title on the line. Gabriel Kidd defending against Zack Sabre Jr. And Kidd retained with a sort of surprise roll-up win. But again, he had a great match with him, just like he did the first time round. And, basically, obviously, now he's got the motivation because he's champion. And, Zack was Zack. Kidd is proving that, he should be one to watch for various companies, whoever wants to hire him. Then again, World of Sport's dead, so WWE, please. Then the semi-finals/finals for the night, at least, of the qualifying. Elgin beat Harry Smith, which was a good match because obviously you've got sort of a New Japan connection here because of Harry Smith, Suzuki Gun, and Elgin being friends with Tanahashi, I guess. And they did this sort of stiff style like it was a Japanese match as well. So that's probably what aided to the match being pretty good. And then Kyle O'Reilly versus Speedball Mike Bailey. I don't need to say anything about this. Fucking watch it. Speedball won, but my God. This is proving that fuck the bloody border control. You fucked us over with Omega, and you're now fucking us over with Bailey. Which, of course, means the UK is going to be using the fuck out of him. Spoilers, he's also been in action in WCPW this past week, and I believe for upcoming UK shows this week as well. Yeah, it was just go watch it. Owen, if you ever get time, both Kyle's matches are incredible.
Considering who he's working
the Mike
with.
Bailey one's more incredible. But the Dukes one is damn good as well.
Don't forget, Tyson is a no-show connection for me, so I know a lot about Tyson.
Yeah. And then we get a non-title match between Henry and El Ligero, which Henry wins via ankle lock. Pretty good match. Because, basically Henry's being the consummate heel saying, I'll never defend this title in Canada. Nobody deserves to see me here in this country. And they still have a good match. Basically, Kirby makes a save afterwards because he refused to relinquish the hold. So yeah,
we're basically halfway through. So we've got Coffee. Osprey, Zack Sabre Jr., Coffee, somebody else representing Scotland. I would not be surprised if it was Hendry now because of circumstances, because I think Drew might be busy. Mysterio, Penta, Elgin, and Mike Bailey. This is already looking like a damn good competition.
Well, yeah.
Thinking that with the Japanese guys, you've obviously got. I mean, Liger would be awesome, but I think you could have an interesting thing with both Kushida and Hiromu Takahashi. Also, and I'll mention it here, they have announced that both Bobby Fish and Ricochet are going to be part of the US qualifiers in a couple of weeks. Sorry, no, July 21st. So next month. So those two alone, it's like, well, let's see who the other 6 are, because I'm intrigued. Nothing yet on the rest of the world stuff. I can guess Travis Banks, but he might be a bit busy. We'll get to him in a bit. So then we actually have the live show on What Culture Extra, Henry Mania. It's brilliant. The show that you had to pay for was pretty average, and the show that you didn't was really good, with a few, adjustments. So for the first 10, 15 minutes, by the way, the sound on this was shit because the venue doesn't have very good internet.
Oh, no.
So basically they had to do it at a lower bandwidth and everything and lower sound quality in order to be able to broadcast the thing.
You didn't plan that ahead, guys, did you? No.
Perhaps if you use less money recreating fucking bloody King Ross getting assassinated by Hobo Joe, and use the money instead to sort of make sure you get a satellite thing so you can get good Wi-Fi for buildings, you might not be in the situation that you're in not having to rely on YouTube being shit anymore. Just the point. But Henry just keeps talking on and on, and he steal a line from Vinny. They talk and they talk and he talk and he talk and he talk and he talk. Striker's apparently banned from the building, so that's why James R. Kennedy comes on. The great thing is Dave Bradshaw's like, what's this? And I'm sort of thinking,
wait, I fucking announced that last Wednesday. This is Saturday. How come he didn't get the memo, despite the fact it was on WCPW's social media and everything? Fucking hell. So then we had Drake versus Shaw Samuels. Which was an okay match, but not great. Drake, of course, won, but with a distracted ref hitting Shaw Samuels with a wrench. Because that's a thing. Because apparently Drake's really good. And Shaw Samuels isn't. Despite the fact, ICW. But whatever. Then we had Prospect beating Kid Fight and Luke King Sharp. Also, I think we've found a new person that's worse than JBO on the commentary, and his name is James R. Kennedy. I had so much potential, but he's just... he's too loud. He's too brash. He's not saying the right things at the right time and the wrong things at the wrong time. It's just... And... Prospect win. And then afterwards, they basically are going to be entering the number one contender tag team gauntlet match on June the 2nd. So we'll get to that in a minute. Then we had El Ligero No, he was supposed to be taking on Dave Mastiff, but apparently there were some travel issues. I don't know what. I'm guessing he couldn't get from Edinburgh to Portsmouth for some reason. Because that's where he was, like, the day after or something. I don't know. All I do know is Dave Mastiff's replacement was Speedball Mike Bailey. And guess what? They had a fucking good match. Oh. This was just, it started as a ground thing, went to flippy shit as quick as you can. These guys had a great match. Bailey wins with the shooting star knee drop. Ty, more and more you realize the Bailey situation with the border police is just like, God damn it. Can we get Trump to now stop the ban on Bailey? I don't mean the female wrestler, I mean Speedball. Then it was supposed to be Primate versus Bad Bones versus Scott Wainwright, but Wainwright, I guess, was on the same train or something, whatever, as Mastiff, so he wasn't able to make the show. So Primate and Bad Bones had a one-on-one match, which was too many like weapon spot, but the ending was actually pretty nice. Bad Bones busted Primate open with a computer keyboard, but Primate saw this blood and sort of like went blood rage sort of him, spearing Bad Bones onto a barricade, and then speared him in the ring and got the win. But pretty good match. Then we had Viper beating the Session Moth, which it's Session Moth being Session Moth, which I personally enjoy. I know it's not going to be everybody's stuff. Viper's a good wrestler. Martina's a good wrestler. Obviously, with Martina's gimmick at the minute, it's going to be more of a comic thing, which it was. But yeah, two very good wrestlers. Pretty good. Then Gabriel Kidd defending the internet title against Kenny Williams. Pretty good. Although it was a weird finish. So they went to sort of do the, I'm trying to think, it would have been WrestleMania 8, the Roddy Piper Bret Hart finish, with the belt. Am I right on my numbers, Owen?
Are you talking about the one with the spring off the buckle and basically into the pin? Run up the ropes?
No, he grabbed the title belt to hit Kidd.
Ah.
But then changed his mind. Which is weird because the referee didn't even try and stop him, even though the intent was he was going to do it. But yeah, Kidd wins, retains, huzzah, hurrah, and all that stuff. Then we had Rampage beating Joe Coffey with a pole driver, which one thing to worth of note, at least from the notes that I've got here, there was a sign in the crowd that said ass, apparently. And then Joe Hendry versus Martin Kirby for the WCPW title. So, of course, they have to do it properly in that, it's a pretty good match. And then, of course, the ending happens. So, yeah, there's a ref bump. Joe Coffey runs in, lays out Kirby with a title. Hendry rolls him up. The referees come to, and Hendry retains.
Rampage then comes out for the save, gets taken out. And then here's Blompier. Except they never mention him by name. It's just the graphic at the background says Blompier. There's a mild Plumpy crowd in the Plumpy chant in the crowd, which sort of gets ignored. And so he confirms that at the Fight Back show, it'll be Joe Hendry versus Martin Kirby one more time in a street fight last man standing match. What? One or the other? The great thing, of course, this means that all this match was on pay-per-view was build up to something that's going to be free on YouTube. You notice the problem here, Owen?
I can see one.
So basically, if you want to, if you know, there was okay matches. Kidd and Williams was good. Speedball and Ligero was great. Otherwise, just watch the Canadian show because on the whole, that was way better. Now, in terms of Fight Back, so it's happening this Friday. It's being broadcast basically as live. I guess it'll be very quickly edited down as well on June the 3rd. I think it's 7 p.m. UK time as it normally is for WCPW shows. Only matches confirmed so far. There's a tag team gauntlet match, which is obviously to determine who faces the Swords of Essex, the tag belts. I'm guessing at the next show, which is Built to Destroy on June the 16th in a couple of weeks. I only say that because obviously Ospreay's busy at the minute, so he ain't going to be in action. So we obviously know Prospector in that tag team gauntlet, but also being added, at least as of broadcast, we got Polo Promotions of Mark Coffey and Jackie Polo, and from Ireland, the Kings of the North, Bonesaw and Damien Corvin. We've also got a hardcore one-on-one match between Primate and Drake. A number one contender for the WCPW title match featuring Dave Mastiff, Joe Coffey, El Ligero, and Rampage. And the previously mentioned Street Fight Last Man Standing match between Hendry, the champ, and Kirby, the challenger, with the added note that if Prestige interfere in any way, shape, or form, Hendry gets stripped of the title. So expect to see Hendry retain. Probably. Also, we're doing hardcore and Street Fight Last Man Standing matches on a show where they're trying to say that wrestling is PG and family friendly and shouldn't get ad boycotted. I sense an issue here, guys. I don't think Coca-Cola are going to like it. And also tickets for the finals of the Pro Wrestling World Cup in August apparently go on sale this Friday. I think that you'll be able to find details as to where and when you can buy them at ProWrestlingWorldCup.com. So that's the thing.
Okay. We move on now to our next topic for the evening, and that is going to be UFC.
So, not too bad card happened this past weekend. Over in the country of Sweden. The best thing to note of the main event saw Gustafsson beat Teixeira in the 5th round of 5 via KO. Afterwards, he then bloody proposed to his girlfriend, who said yes. In terms of the rest of the main card, before that, in order from first to last, we had Jack Hermansson beat Alex Nicholson midway through the first in the middleweights. Then in your 3 welterweight fights, Nordine Taleb beat Olivier Enkamp on unanimous decision. Split decision then got the win for Amari Akhmedov against Abdul Razak Al Hassan. The interesting thing is 2 of the judges gave it 30-27 for Akhmedov. The other one gave it 29-28 to Al Hassan. So on that logic, these judges were completely all over the place. Then we had Peter Sabata beat Ben Saunders with the second round, midway through the second round, TKO. And then a 28-second punch saw Volkan Osmadia beat Misha Serkinov. In terms of the bonuses, Gustafsson and Teixeira got the $50,000 bonus of Fight of the Night. Performance of the Night, though, didn't go to anything on the main card. The opener of the prelims, the welterweight bout, the winner of that, Bojan Velekovic, for his last minute knockout. It was basically about half a minute or so before the end of the fight. 14 and a half minutes, and then it was a knockout. So Bojan gets $50,000. And then Damir Hazovic, who was on the Fight Pass opening prelim card thing. So he was on the first match of the night. He got $50,000 as well with his very sweet-looking knee knockout on Martin Held, literally like 7 seconds into the third and final round. It was just like they sort of touched gloves because they were done. He kneed him. Referee waved it off. It was that quick, that beautifully done. Very well done. Overall, pretty strong show, which is, although it is worth noting, the other thing on the Fight Pass, I think it was supposed to be a light heavyweight belt. But Darren Till came in 5 pounds over. Oh, sorry, it was welterweight. He came in 5 pounds over the limit, so he was fined 20% of his purse. The thing is, he still managed to win, weirdly. That doesn't always happen, so there you go. So this week, it's pay-per-view time, but apart from like the main event and the co-main, it's not really that strong an event for people just watching. For Rio, it's going to be a big one. Because, we are in Brazil for this one. UFC 212, Aldo versus Holloway. So Aldo's back home trying to win and all that. So on the extra prelims on Fight Pass, in the flyweights, we've got Marco Beltran versus Delvison Alcantara. Luan Chagas versus Jim Wallhead in the welterweights, and then a women's strawweight fight with Viviane Pereira taking on Jamie Moyle. Then a heck of a lot of bantamweights on Fox Sports 1. We've got Yuri Alcantara versus Brian Kelleher. Johnny Eduardo versus Matthew Lopez. Sandwiched between that and the main event are Antonio Carlos Jr. and Eric Spicely in the middleweights. And then your bantamweight main event is Rafael Asunciao versus Marlon Moraes. And then the main card, starting off with the welterweight bout between Eric Silva and Yancy Medeiros. In the middleweights, we've got Paulo Barancia versus Oluwale Bangbos. Next up, Vitor Belfort's last ever MMA fight, we believe. He's going to be taking on Nate Marquardt. I think that's how you pronounce it. Probably wrong. But yeah, that's Belfort's retirement match. Then a women's strawweight bout between Claudia Gadela and Karolina Kowalkiewicz. And then the main event to unify the featherweight titles. Jose Aldo, the champion, because it was given to him after Conor gave up the belt because he's obviously in the different division now. Takes on interim champ
even though he shouldn't have been interim champ because Aldo was injured when he should have defended or should have won the belt in the fight. Max Holloway. That's the complicated one. So it's a champion that wasn't actually a champion against the interim champion who shouldn't really be interim champion. He should already be champion. Because Aldo got the belt even though he was injured. Complicated. Do. Complicated. Do. In terms of bits of news, there was, just having a quick look here at the latest stuff that's just come in. Dana hasn't talked specifics with the Floyd Mayweather camp, but a 50-50 financial split he sees as pretty fair between Mayweather and McGregor. Jimmy Manoa, the Brit, versus Volkan Ozdemir is now set for UFC 214 at the end of July in Anaheim. Kevin Lee and Michael Chiesa won't face any punishment for their confrontation and fight at the press conference that happened a few weeks back. Dominic Cruz will be on the announced team for UFC 212 this weekend. Oh, apparently Belfort has one more fight on his contract after the match this Monday. So I guess if he wants to retire, he can, but there's clearly something there. Also, Dan Hardy wants to face a veteran fighter if he does come back, which is an interesting one. The other thing that came through, though, regarding the girl, Ronda Rousey, her next television project has been revealed because ABC is reviving Battle of the Network stars. With Rousey and also DeMarcus Ware, the former NFL guy, as coaches. Featuring 100 television stars from 14 networks and cable companies and stuff like obstacle course and tug of war and archery and kayak and everything. The show will be airing starting the end of June 29th, on Tuesdays from 9 till 10 for 10 weeks. So I'm guessing that's what she's doing now, because I'm sort of guessing her career is sort of over. Just have a quick look, see if there's anything from Monday that I missed in terms of the news. By the looks of it, no. Most of it is just we're still having everybody sort of talking smack to each other in the build-up to the big ones. Obviously, Jones and Cormier and the things like that. So that's UFC.
The UFC leads to NXT.
Well, I can't talk about this because I didn't watch it. I heard it.
Another week goes by, another edition of NXT. Tommaso Ciampa comes out to start off the show on crutches. Fans are chanting, why? Ciampa, why? He calls Gargano out to give an explanation, but he's not there. He sustained an injury before TakeOver, and everyone wondered if Gargano would even need a replacement partner. He knew he'd compete, but others thought he needed to be replaced, and they were basically trying to come up with replacements for him. His knee popped in the middle of the match. He knew it was serious, but he put it aside to fight for the people. And if he went down, he would have been replaced and became an afterthought. He made his decision right then and there to jump Johnny. He blames the fans. He blames Johnny. He said he had to go away for a long time. But then again, so did Johnny Wrestling. He says he is professional wrestling, whether you like it or not. Really solid promo from Ciampa to start off the show. Crowd was really giving him some serious heat too, so it worked really well. Get a vignette for Danny Burch. Afterwards, we get Bobby Roode in his car. He says there's going to be a huge celebration next week. It's going to be glorious, but it's exclusive. You're not invited. But next week, I make my return. Non-title match with the current UK champion, the Bruiserweight Pete Dunne, against Danny Burch. Dunne works the Marty Scurll offense with the fingers. And the story about this match was Dunne is getting trapped in the crossface, and he breaks out. They work a really tight, strong style match that I enjoyed very much. Burch gets the shine with an exploder, big right hand, and he pretty much gets snuffed out there. Dunne hits the Orange Crush, and he ends up getting countered into a pinfall and a huge lariat from Burch. Burch cannot capitalize because he's been worked over the whole match. Burch goes for the snakebite DDT off the top rope instead of the middle. And then we set up Burch finally getting one more big last-ditch effort at the very end. He charges in. Dunne gets out of the way. He hits the buckle. And Dunne with a German suplex into the buckle. Hits the bitter end and wins it clean. Really solid match. I like this match a lot. I really did. Pete Dunne gets on the microphone. He says the UK Championship rightfully belongs to him ever since January. And at TakeOver, it was my pleasure to take it away from Tyler Bate. History will remember that everything about this title was owned by Pete Dunne. Then we get the Velveteen Dream in the back with Kayla. He hushes her. The ambiance is not right. When you're the Velveteen Dream experience, everything must be perfect. He wants her to fix her hair, and then maybe he'll return.
Oh.
Patrick Clark, you're awesome. I'm sorry. I like this gimmick a lot. I hope it gets over. Vignette on the Authors of Pain, voiced over by Paul Ellering. I mean, I like Ellering. I don't care about the Authors of Pain. Move on. Cien Almas takes on Cesar Bononi. Almas ends up in the shotgun. Yeah, you got your jobber alert thing. Almas goes for the shotgun knees early, but doesn't get the pinfall out of it. And he works away. Finally, Bononi ends up countering a suplex attempt into a small package for the 3 count. So, short win. Then afterwards, Almas like, I lost. And then he laughs and he walks to the back. So, we get Peyton in the back. And, of course, this is more Mean Girls stuff. You gotta love this. I don't mind this. Billy and Peyton are fun. They're enjoyable. They're being filmed at the Performance Center. God knows who's filming them. They're remodeling. That's what they want to do. Here comes Ember Moon. They say, you're not iconic. And Ember ends up signing a waiver to get back in the ring. So that shuts up the Mean Girls. Asuka will be defending against Ruby Riott and Nikki Cross in an elimination match in 2 weeks. We get Hideo Itami throwing a Johnny tantrum. Gotta love that. Haven't said that on this show for a long time, but it was true. And Hero tries to calm him down, and Itami curses at him. He flips the table. He literally is Johnny. It's great. So later on, Hero and Itami shake hands in the parking lot. All is well. And next week, Hideo Itami versus Oni Lorcan. Yes, please. Main event time. As I'm going to refer to them as the Kings of NXT. Get it? Taking on Sanity with Killian Dane. If they wanted to do this match right, I would have replaced Alexander Wolf in this match with Damo, honestly. Because then it would have been like a full indie showcase match. But still was good for what it was. So they work the heat on Hero for a bit, and he finally gets Roddy in. Roddy gets the hot tag, clothesline on Wolf, hits the angle slam, and he gets a high knee on the apron. Eric Young ends up getting sent down as well. Gets the running knee, hits the backdrop face buster on Wolf. I love the placement here because he gets his foot on the bottom rope right at 3. Eric Young comes in with a reverse neck breaker. Hero makes the save. Young takes him down. Big Damo gets on the ring apron to go attack, and here comes No Way Jose because this feud can't be perfect, now can it?
Oh no!
He pulls him off. Exactly. He pulls him off the apron. This leads to Wolf getting hit with the rolling elbow, and then the finish is the end of Heartache from Roddy. And he gets the win. So the continuation of the Roderick Strong push rolls on here on NXT. This was decent. I mean, this was a good show. I enjoyed the wrestling on the show. Like, Ciampa's promo started off was really good. Dunn and Birch was really good. Good, strong style British wrestling match. I really enjoyed that. Benoni winning over Almas and then Almas just not caring. I like that. The stuff that they're doing with Billy and Peyton and Ember, which of course is going to be building to something, obviously, down the line. I think that that's good. And I like Tommy like showing like fire because he lost. He's like throwing a Johnny tantrum, so that means that we may see heel Kenta. I'm down with that. The Kings of NXT teaming up. Yes, please, against Sanity. Like I said, it should have been Dane and Young, but I mean, it still worked. I don't like how No Way Jose's in this because I think he sticks out like a sore thumb here, but I mean, the crowd popped for it, so. Jose's over at Full Sail, and he has been since day one. So, yeah, I mean, there's other people you could have put in here, but that's what they went with Jose, the continuation on the storyline. So, because continuity actually matters in the NXT. Decent show.
Mm-hmm.
So now we roll on from 3 letters to 3 more letters. Now we're talking about ROH.
Which, refreshingly, this time, actually was newish stuff. Because we're at the 2300 arena as they recap Omega firing Adam Cole and Marty Scurll coming in. So Ian and Colt welcome us. The Young Bucks and Adam are in the ring. And Matt runs it through with the crowd as what's happened and introduced Marty. And Marty said, "We shocked the world and caused a spot of bother in New York City. Nevertheless, I invite everybody to a tea party with Marty." Cue Adam Cole on the ramp, saying, "No, I think it's time for the story time with Adam Cole, baby. Far better than a tea party." You know, and went on about how he's the best in Ring of Honor, and then Hangman Page got on the mic and said, "You know, I planned on running you out of here." And Cole says, "All right, I'll face you one-on-one." And they really did a good thing about saying that this match will be happening in the next few weeks rather than later on. Like the way they were saying it made it sound, which is probably not good. So we started off with Josh Woods and David Starr as they recapped, Starr attacking him after the Top Prospect finals and everything. Josh Woods did actually get the win, beating sort of the hometown favorite, even though Starr isn't, because obviously in Philly, Starr has CZW connection, so that's probably why he was somewhat over.
But Woods out of nowhere put on a knee bar and got one via tap out. Then there was a little vignette for Punishment Martinez saying, "Continue to be punished." And Cabana's face after this was like, "Oh my God, what the hell is he going to do?" It's like Cabana's like, "Oh my," Cabana's taking this so seriously. So then they have the Beer City Bruiser versus Jay Lethal, which they recap, Silas attacking Lethal, whatever. And basically, we get on back to the arena, and Young's like, "I don't understand why Jay Lethal thinks he's better than me." And that he attacked him because he wanted to stop him from running his mouth. So then Lethal shows up and basically says, I guess, you said my name 3 times and I've got Beetlejuice problems, so I'm here, Silas. It's like, or at least that's what Riccaboni said, because the name was said 3 times. So Riccaboni knows his Tim Burton. So Lethal beats Beer City Bruiser. Admittedly with a DQ, because basically Lethal started rolling with Cyrus, and then Bruiser got DQ'd basically for interfering. Bobby Fish then came out for the save to help out Lethal. It's interesting, because Silas got involved, it cost his friend the match, because obviously Lethal won via DQ. So shenanigans there. And then we got to the main event, Cody and Frankie Kazarian. So Cody got the mic and said, all the fans were disappointed that I didn't walk out as champ at War of the Worlds. Daniel showed himself to be the smartest man in the room by making the issue between Lethal and Cody worse and sneaking out as champ. But the real reason I lost was the directors not wanting a free agent to have their title. And then he asked Colt Cabana to repeat what he said during the pay-per-view, noting Jay Lethal's shoulders were flat on the mat. And Kazarian, made his way to the ring, and Cabana was like, "Hey, Cody likes my commentary. That's pretty awesome." Just that is a brilliant touch. So basically, Cody, it was interesting because Cody got the win because Hangman Adam Page came out to distract Kazarian, so Cody hit Crossroads. Then afterwards, both of them beat down Kaz, but as Cody was about to hit Angel's Wings, Daniel shows up and makes the save. So yeah, after last week's What the Hell Was That show, this was a really good one, and we can now officially confirm one-on-one Daniels v. Cody's happening at Best in the World in 3 weeks? 4 weeks? No, 3 weeks. Because it's the 23rd.
And do you want to talk about the card for Best in the World?
Well, I think that's the only match that's properly confirmed.
No, incorrect.
We have more? Holy shit.
Only one more. Right now, we have Matt Taven and Vinny Marseglia from the Kingdom taking on CMLL's tandem of Ultimo Guerrero and El Terrible.
Okay. I did see, and I don't know whether it was a mocked up photo of whether bloody Chris Wolf was going to be part of Best in the World.
Yeah, I
you know,
did
from
see that
Stardom
too,
and all.
actually. But
I
Ring
don't
of
know whether
Honor.
that was a mocked up thing or.
No, it's on here.
So she is going to be a part of it.
Yeah,
Wow,
according
that's a Women of Honor match that should be on the pay per view. Better be.
according to ROHWrestling.com.
God damn it. 'Cause that's a pay per view worthy match, bitches.
So, Ring of Honor this week returns to Chicago Ridge. And it's
Yes.
going to be on this Saturday, June 3rd.
All the Chicagos.
Yeah,
So
this
all
is
just-
this is actually a TV taping.
Yeah, it's weird as well. It's a relatively early time because the bell time is 6 p.m. So we're moving a little earlier by an hour or so, which probably means we're doing a shit ton of tapings because, of course, well, actually thinking about it, this is going to be weird because everything that's on this show is going to be airing after the pay-per-view. I noticed some issues here, especially considering when one of the matches is Daniels and Kazarian versus the Bullet Club, which isn't featuring Cody. Apparently.
And it's also not saying which members of the Bullet Club that I'm seeing, at least.
So I guess in that respect it could be Cody, but I don't know what Cody's doing this week.
Hold on, I got this. I'm trying to see if it's on the
Unless
Twitter.
Cody's in Japan for the build up to Dominion the week after. It's unclear. Anyway, the other matches that are supposedly scheduled for the TV tapings, you got the Rebellion of Kenny King, Rhett Titus, and Shane Taylor taking on Dalton Castle and the boys. Jonathan Gresham one-on-one with Flip Gordon. Jay Lethal taking on Caprice Coleman. Punishment Martinez and Jay White finally go at it one-on-one. And also Silas Young versus Bobby Fish. The Bucks supposed to also be on the show. Bully Ray and the Briscoes. Josh Woods, The Kingdom. The Motor City Machine Guns, Hangman Page. Coast to Coast of Leon St. Giovanni and Shaheem Ali. The Tempura Boys of Show and Yo. And Cheeseburger and Will Ferreira. Do we know the whereabouts of Cody? Fuck the revival.
No, but I will say that Collinsville, Illinois, this Sunday, June 4th, will be Gateway to Gold. The main event.
Well, it's an interesting one because the Gateway to Gold match is going to be featuring Dalton Castle, Jake Christ, Cheeseburger, Jay White, Punishment Martinez, Will Ferreira, Kenny King, Show, and Yo, Tempura Boys, and Jonathan Gresham. Whoever wins that faces Daniels later on in the night. We've also got Kazarian versus Philip Gordon. The Rebellion of Coleman and Titus taking on Coast to Coast of St. Giovanni and Ali. Bully Ray and Mark Briscoe face Silas Young and the Beer City Bruiser. Jay Briscoe is actually taking on Shane Taylor. Jay Lethal one-on-one with Bobby Fish. And the Young Bucks defend the tag belts against the Kingdom of Taven and Marsaglia. Also apparently feature... Oh, hang on. That's completely separate. Also featuring Colt Cabana. Even though there's no commentary on the thing, possibly. Well, I can't object. It's Colt Cabana.
Well, this moves us on to New Japan Pro Wrestling.
Oh, this complicated shit. Oh, so we continue on with Best of the Super Juniors 24. So night 7 for Block B. We had wins for Kanemaru over Tiger Mask, Volador over Desperado, Bushi over Taguchi, and ACH over Kushida. Then night 8, Taichi beat Marty Skull, Ricochet beat Liger, 0 and 5. Hiromu Takahashi beat Taka Michinoku, and Ospreay beat Dragon Lee. Night 9, back to Block B. ACH beat Desperado. Bushi beat Volador. Taguchi beat Tiger Mask. And Kushida beat Kanemaru. Night 10, Block A once again. Ricochet beat Taka. Dragon Lee beat Liger. 0 and 6. Taichi beat Ospreay. And Hiromu Takahashi beat Marty Skull. Then night 11 to Block B. Tiger Mask beat Desperado. Bushi beat Kanemaru. Volador beat ACH. And what was said to be a really, really good match, Kushida eventually beat Taguchi. So, at this point in the standings, in Block A, 5 people were on 8 points. Skull was on 6, so was mathematically out no matter what. Taka was on 2, and Liger hasn't won a single match. Block B, everybody is to the same number of wins and losses. So literally, everybody in that match show is got the possibility of winning the tournament, depending on who wins and who loses and everything, because it'll be who did that person beat, did they beat them sort of deal. So in terms of the permutations, I can't tell you because they're all on the same number of points, and it gets complicated over, okay, if that person wins, then they're like, it's too complicated. So it sort of is unofficially like whoever wins, it's whoever by luck has the best record out of the 4 of them. So we'll get to that in a minute when we preview it. But we had the final of Block A earlier today in Osaka, which was live on New Japan World. I haven't managed to catch it, mainly because I haven't got New Japan World, but there's probably archives of it already. So in terms of the actual tournament stuff, the opening one, Jushin Thunder Liger finally fucking won. He beat Taichi. Taichi's out of it. Liger actually gets a win. Crowd was obviously marking the shit out of it. You know, Liger's last match in the competition, and he finally got one after, 6 consecutive losses. And Liger basically said, it'll be better for me to not be in the tournament to let a young lion, if you will, or a young boy sort of thing, get a chance to take my spot and, earn their place sort of thing. So a nice, respectful thing. Then, interestingly, Taka Michinoku beat Dragon Lee, which eliminates Lee at the benefit of Taka. Then, in somewhat of a nice result, but also an upset, Marty Scurll beats Ricochet, so Ricochet is out. So it literally comes down to the champion, Takahashi, versus Best of Super Junior 22 2015 winner, Will Ospreay. And what's said to be a good match again, Ospreay wins and is the only person on 10 points, so Ospreay tops the group and goes on. So in terms of tomorrow, obviously there's no obvious order as to what you do these matches for because of how close it is. Well, as in they've all got the same number of points. So the matches that are happening in terms of the fixtures,
We got Tiger Mask 4 versus Bushi, Taguchi versus ACH, Kushida versus Volador Jr., and Kanemaru versus El Desperado. Because of the way they've structured that, I really don't know. I'd say Bushi probably will beat Tiger Mask. Taguchi ACH, I'd guess Taguchi, but that's a coin toss. And really, Kushida, Volador, and Kanemaru El Desperado are coin tosses. So out of them, I'd say 7 could win. Sorry, Tiger Mask. Oh, also, it's like, who would have the best match with Ospreay? Because Kushida would be a good pick. Taguchi would be good. ACH would be good. El Desperado could be very good. You know, that's complicated as shit. The final, whoever wins that, will face Ospreay on Saturday in Tokyo. And although it is next week, this will obviously lead into next Friday, the 9th, being the Road to Dominion show in Kurikan Hall, which will be the first time we'll see Tanahashi since his injury and his, I guess his rehab, because obviously he hasn't been able to have surgery. And then, of course, Dominion a week on Sunday, which I'm guessing within the next week, or by this time next week, we will have a full card for you for Dominion, because obviously at the minute we've only got 5 or 6 confirmed matches. There is one thing to note, though, with New Japan. If you are in the Angeles of Los area, Friday, June the 30th, New Japan, in conjunction with Marukai, will be holding a live press conference for the G1 specials. Is it? Are they July 1st and 2nd? The following day?
That sounds correct, yes.
I think. Well, yeah, because the New Japan guys are in the UK for the New Japan Cup stuff, aren't they? Or the British J Cup and the What Culture stuff the following week. So they're going to be doing, by the looks of it, a live press conference on the Friday to build up the live show on the Saturday and the live to tape show on the Sunday. Because, of course, they don't want to go up head-to-head with Great Balls of Fire and other stuff. The event will be free of charge, and fans and media are both welcome to attend as well. The press conference will feature the participants in the United States Championship Tournament, as well as whoever the heavyweight and intercontinental champions are. So I'm guessing probably Naito and Omega on that front. Because I think with the injury, Tana might not become intercontinental champion. They could. I'd say it's risky because of how he is, unless he rehabs like heavy in the month in between the two. Then again, of course, if he doesn't, if Naito drops the intercontinental title to, I guess you could have Tanahashi lose to Cody, possibly. Or if it wasn't, Naito dropped the belt to Robinson.
That makes the most sense to me.
I don't know whether it's ticketed, but yeah, the event is Marukai, which is it's in Gardena, California at 1740 West Artesia Boulevard. 90248. God damn it, you're 38 off a TV show. And that'll be at local time of 4 p.m. Pacific, so that could be interesting. So I think that's, well,
Nah, it's more general news, even though it's sort of Japanese related. It's more video game related than anything else. So I'll leave that till in a minute. Oh, wait. That is everything, isn't it? We talk about news now.
Yeah, it's news now.
Let's go back to last week's Dave stuff that's of note. Oh, that's good. The tablet just randomly decided to reboot. That's worrying. So I'm not going to have any sound on it now because it's broken. So apparently Tanahashi's had full right biceps rupture. That was the injury. He should be having surgery and be out for 6 months. Instead, he's missing 3 weeks and is basically returning at the Kurikan Hall show to face Naito or to shoot an angle with Naito to build up to Dominion. So who knows? So how much percentage tickets do you think for WrestleMania went to the local Orlando market, Owen?
Probably not a small amount. I'd say less than 30%.
25%. How much do you think, percentage-wise, of the Long Beach stuff is ticket-wise?
Probably a lot more.
20%. Only 20%. So 1/5 of the people that went or are going, are actually local to California. There's that many people flying in from other countries or in and around the US. That's pretty ridiculous.
Yeah.
As we announced last week, Bola is coming back Labor Day weekend, September 1st through 3rd. Fanfare. Had to do that, otherwise I can't get the internet on my tablet, which is annoying if I need it for notes. So the Ring of Honor UK shows, it's London on the 17th, which is also a Rev Pro show. But then the Ring of Honor show itself is on the 18th. They're in Liverpool on the 19th and then Edinburgh on the 20th. Also, regarding that, there is no Field of Honor show like previous years at the Brooklyn Cyclone Stadium. Basically, they were unable to coordinate dates, but they're hoping to do a show there next year. SummerSlam isn't a sellout. You want to know why, Owen? Can you guess?
Why is that?
The tickets that are left to go cost between $800 and $1,800.
They're pricing themselves out to most of the market. That's the problem.
Exactly. That's the issue. That is the major issue that they're having. Basically, because UFC did so well by doing ridiculous prices for the Garden, WWE did it because they see themselves on the same level, even though they're not sports, honest. And that's why people aren't buying them. The Manchester Arena NXT show got cancelled. Obviously, basically, I think the deal is obviously they're still investigating and working on the arena in terms of, what's going on. So that's why they won't be doing the show this coming Tuesday, I think it is. There will, some of the NXT guys and girls will be there, though, visiting, I guess, the local fans. Some of them have been offered refunds from what I remember. Or some of them, the interesting thing is some of them have been offered free tickets for Leeds as well, for those that can make it to the show the following night that were going. So You know, that's a nice little touch. If you haven't heard as well about the Manchester stuff, there's a big ass concert happening at the Old Trafford Cricket Ground this coming Sunday with Grande, along with like Coldplay and Katy Perry and One Direction. You know, a whole host of stars all raising money for the thing. So here's the confusing thing. You know how I said last week about the Owens versus Styles and Nakamura, Ziggler, and Jinder Owen for the title was happening in New Orleans?
Right.
They then, obviously, when Smackdown happened, they changed their tune. And all of a sudden, the show in New Orleans. Apparently, the following day after we spoke, Owen, the show for Smackdown was going to have the title on again. So they don't even know what the shit they're doing either. Who knows? Emma's expected to be cleared from a shoulder injury some point in mid-June, so it isn't too bad. The WWE naming the Mae Young Classic, Dave basically sees that as a slap in the face of Fabulous Moolah. Basically, some people are saying this is rather nasty because, of course, you know, how long she was champion Moolah, and of course she was very close with Vince Sr. But Mae Young is there because guess who was close to Mae Young? Stephanie. It doesn't seem clear, though, whether the 13th and the 14th of July are going to be tapings or live broadcasts. The interesting thing is, though, Viper's been asked to be part of the women's tournament. I mean, I'm guessing that Nixon Newell is, because earlier this week she left this country and she says how Mae Young is such a great wrestler on her Twitter. So, you know, I'm putting two and two together. I'm making Owen needs to be there on July 13th and 14th, please.
It's going to be hard, but we'll see what we can do.
Now, of course, if Viper's going, then the question is, what does that mean with the ITV thing? The interesting thing is, because the Impact stuff never actually happened, they're not in a deal with them. So somebody else could come in and say, we'll do it, you know, and they could do it instead. So who knows? Jim Ross has confirmed he will be announcing for those women's shows. Rumor is he's going to be joined by Lita. Is she going to be fucking drunk? Regarding Adam Cole, basically, they haven't offered Adam Cole a contract because of all that legal issue and whatever in terms of, you know, basically what was being seen as tapping up people or whatever. Some English Rugby League player, Luke Menzies, plays for the Toronto Wolfpack, who, by the way, actually, even though they play in like the English leagues, they still play in Toronto, Canada. So that's that's cheating. In terms of the most watched shows, Backlash was number 1, closely followed by Takeover Chicago. Thank God. Also, the UK special did get number 7 as well. 205 Live didn't even make the top 20. Wow. And then Dave goes into more of like what is going on with Jinder and to whether it will get over in India. In terms of star ratings, it's that nothing apart from Owens and AJ got over 3 stars.
Nakamura and Ziggler nearly did at 2 3/4. With Takeover on Dave's ratings, Strong and Young got 3 1/4. Dunn and Bate got 4 3/4. Asuka's triple threat win got 3.5. Rude and Itami got 4 1/4. And Authors of Pain beating DIY in the ladder match got 4 1/4. So not a single match went under 3 stars for Chicago, and only one match went over 3 stars for Backlash. Which do you think was the better show, guys? Also, in terms of Dave's ratings, the Osprey Ricochet match from last week, you should check out because that got a 4 3/4 as well. 4 1/4 for Ricochet's win over Takahashi. A 4.5 for Kushida over Bushi as well. And I think there's a 4 at least for Kushida and Taguchi's match from this past week, at least. In terms of other news, as if Fire Pro Wrestling World on Steam wasn't an even more important game, the final version, when it's ready, will let you set your own MP3 music for entrance music for your wrestlers. So you don't have to deal with generic shit on WWE 2K stuff. You can just put whatever music you want. Is this game looking good, Owen?
Yeah, might make me want to figure out how to set up my PS4. So
I have to hook up that PC with Steam. Let's have a quick look. CZW. Oh, actually, better not get to CZW yet. The interesting one. So the Billy Corgan thing. Who knows what the shit's going on with him and the NWA now? So multiple sources have apparently told P. Windsor that the deal is in jeopardy due to issues regarding the transfer of copyrights and trademarks for the NWA. Apparently, copyright and trademark on the brand name lapsed last year, with International Wrestling Corps LLC applying for it again on March the 30th, but the trademark hasn't been officially assigned. That theoretically meaning that it's impossible for Corgan to actually get it. And if the deal doesn't go through, who knows what happens? Because then obviously you got the issue with what happens with the other independent promoters that are using the NWA name, and whether they'll agree to be part of this. So yeah, that's getting complicated as shit. X-Pac's case against the state, I guess, for supposedly trying to traffic drugs for LAX has apparently been thrown out by the district attorney, and Waltman's been cleared. So I guess whatever evidence they thought they had, they didn't. And now I need to bring up another promotion. So Defy Wrestling up in, I think it's Seattle way, had a show, their third show, this past Friday. On it, we had stuff like Shane Strickland beating John Morrison, Taya Valkyrie beating Christina Von Eerie, Joey Ryan with Eddie Van Glam beating Mr. Fitness with Steve West, Big Jack and Cole Cunningham beating Sexy Mexies, and Moose beating Mike Santiago. But midway through, we had Leo Rush and Davey Richards for the CCW World title. And holy shit, Davey Richards is the new CCW champion. Saying that if anybody wants to take the belt, they better come to Seattle to do it. Or I think it was Washington anyway. They said Washington. The thing is, he won't be, because July the 7th, his first title defense, at least that we know of, is going to be in Voorhees, New Jersey. The July the 7th show, I don't think has got a title yet. He'll be defending against not former champs Shane Strickland and actual former champs in Leo Rush and Joe Gacy. They've also announced that Jason Freeman, or what I guess Feinstein, if he is going to be called that now, defends the Wire title against Trevor Lee. But they've also announced, and we'll go into this fully next week, Tournament of Deaths situation. So there's going to be a three-way with John Wayne Murdoch, Jimmy Havoc, and Ricky Shane Page, with a stipulation that's yet to be revealed. In a doorway to death match, it'll be Masada versus Schlack. And a light tubes and cinder blocks match, it'll be Jeff Cannonball versus G Raver. And in barbed wire craziness, Connor Claxton takes on Clint Margera. And then two other matches in non-tournament stuff. A fans bring the weapons match between Madman Pondo and Matt Tremont, or Father Matthew, I guess. And Devon Moore and Drew Blood team up to take on Danny Havoc and a mystery opponent. I bet it's Sammy Callahan. Probably. Because, you know, he's booking. I mean, it might not.
Ashley, do you have the Game Changer Wrestling show?
GCW, I do not.
I do, but I'm not. You're going to have to go to Joey Janela's Twitter to find this. Howell, New Jersey, Game Changer World. Doors open at 4:30 p.m. this Saturday, June 3rd. Bell time 5:15. It does say on the poster, this event is suggested for mature audiences only. This is Zandig's second annual Tournament of Survival.
Oh, it's not the Tournament of Life anymore.
Not according to this. Zandig will face Matt Tremont, a mystery opponent for Danny Havoc. And those are regular matches. There is a non-tournament match involving Joey Janela taking on Joker. A Destruction Derby death match with Jimmy Lloyd versus the real man, Nick F. Gage.
Is he out of prison again?
Out of that prison, yes.
Oh, well, we know who's going to be in Tournament of Death then next week. Nick Gage.
Well, will you go to Janela Baby on Twitter real quick, because you can say this, I can't, because we're live. So the match between Masashi Takeda against Marcus Crane.
So yeah, Masashi Takeda and Marcus Crane in a fuckery boards match. What?
Yep, I ain't saying that.
Danny Havoc's taking on a shadow, apparently. Or it might be a mystery opponent. And Matt Tremont versus Jesus! So on that, I'm going to say that the mystery person's winning. Just to really be fucking confusing.
IWC will run their Super Indie tournament next Saturday night. We have first round matches already announced. It's going to be at the Court Time Sports Center in Elizabeth, Pennsylvania. We've got Adam Cole taking on DJ Zema Ion. That should be really good. As well as Jay White against Jonathan Gresham. Chris LaRusso, the current Super Indie champion, taking on Mike Orlando. Joey Janela versus Colt Cabana.
Uh-oh.
And those are the first round matches that have been announced currently by that IWC Wrestling.
So in terms of what else happened other than Defy Wrestling, because there is something that sort of is related to that. So Preston City Wrestling, I don't have the results of the secret show, but we have got the shows from Bradford and Preston from Friday and Saturday. So Friday show in Bradford had Philip Michael beat Arcadian Jake Long. Sona Durson beat Lewis Gervin. Chris Ridgway victorious over Zachary Wentz. Yeston Reese, Tyson T-Bone, and Lionheart beat the two mates pissing about.
Good Lord.
that That's a great tag team name of Joey Hayes and Martin Kirby. Matt Riddle beat Angelico. I'm not sure whether that was for the WWM belt or not. Dave Birch got named the new general manager of PCW. Speaking of, he lost being beaten by Matthew Brooks, and Bubblegum beat Desmond Xavier. The show in Preston on the Saturday, Bubblegum and Philip Michael beat Yeston Reese and Tyson T-Bone. Desmond Xavier beat Angelico. Matthew Brooks defeated Zachary Wentz. Lionheart and CJ Banks beat the models of Joey Hayes and Danny Hope. And the four-way, it was Dean Allmark beating Sonna Durson, Arcadian, and Alex Matthews. And Chris Ridgway beat Lewis Gervin in the main event. Alpha One up in Canada as we go to the Canadian, if I can say it properly, section of the show. Space Monkey is number one contender to the Zero Gravity title after he beat Dr. Daniel C. Rockingham. Just Insane defeated Gregory Iron. And the grudge match, Eric Carney beat Dominic Guarini. Beautiful B, victorious over KC Spinelli. Alessandro Del Bruno retained the Zero Gravity title himself against Alex Daniel. So next show, it's going to be Del Bruno versus the Space Monkey. Oh, my God. Ricky Shane Page versus defeated Young Miles. In the tag team Texas Tornado no DQ match, Ethan Page and Shane Saber beat the Virus of Joey Kings and Josh Alexander. And the main event, Kobe Durst successfully defended the Alpha Male title against Eddie Kingston. Then we move to Lucha Toronto's co-produced show with Smash Wrestling, if you will, from Sunday. We had John Atlas beat Beck Kadesh. Greed beat Freddie Mercurio. The Fraternity defeated Halal Beefcake. Tyson Dukes retained the Smash Wrestling title, beating Carter Mason. Sebastian Suave beat Hacker Scotty O'Shea and Space Monkey in a triple threat. And then in your two Lucha matches, Matt Cross, who may or may not be Son of Havoc, beat the Mac, who may or may not be Willie Mack. And Aerostar, who may or may not be Aerostar beat Drago as well. And then C4 in Ontario, or in Ottawa, Ontario. We have Brute Van Slyke beat Brent Banks. This is the Attack the Block show, by the way. Kobe Durst retained the Underground title, beating Dino, Cecil Nick, Sebastian Suave, Shane Saber, and Vanessa Craven. Michael Von Payton beat Mark Wheeler. Ethan Page, victorious over Bucks Belmar. Tyson Dukes beat Josh Alexander. Stu Grayson and Thomas Dubois' number one contendership match went to a double countout. We'll get to that. New tag champs crowned, though. Fight or Flight, get that the right way around. Beat Heavy Metal Chaos, the defending champs, as well as the Fraternity and High and Mighty to win those belts. Eva Luno beat Willie Mack. Matthew St. Jack then in the main event beat Frankie the Mobster and Space Monkey in a freeway. The complicated matter is he's going to be in another freeway because of that double countout match. The next show on June the 17th is being headlined by Machia defending against both his tag team partners in various different promotions. His tag team partner in C4, at the minute at least, being Stu Grayson, and his tag team partner in various other things, including in Kevin Steen's Weekend Escapades of Thomas Dubois, the Tabernacle team. So that could be an interesting combination there, certainly. So then we get to the WWN shows. FIP's Accelerate. Anthony Henry beat Teddy Stigma with a Kudo driver. Apparently the bounty hadn't been collected because obviously Henry won because there was a bounty on him or something. And apparently the person that's coming to collect the bounty will be Maxwell J. Friedman. Then Fred Yehai comes out and says the F in FIP doesn't stand for family, it stands for Fred. Apparently, Martin Stone couldn't show up to compete
So instead, it's an open contract for the Trouble Zone. Reggie, I stealing shit off EC3. I love it. So later on in the night, instead of it being Martin Stone, it's actually going to be Ethan Case, who was supposed to be on the show anyway. In the Wildcat Sports Showcase match, Jay Spade beat Matt Lancey with a discus forearm. Then in the WWN versus Wildcat match, pretty long one by the looks of it. Wow. Paro, Oddinson, and Drennan beat Bukudao, Socorro, and Dami Flamingo. So WWN, I guess, won out in that sense. They announced FIP will be returning June 17th to Tampa with an appearance from Matt Riddle. So I'm guessing that'll be for the WWN title. If he still got it, probably will. Araya Blake and Dynamite Didi beat Priscilla Kelly and Lindsay Snow. AR Fox beat Jason Kincaid. And basically it's a tease sort of for the following night because, you know, he stole the show the last time and is the draw on the show every time and doesn't know why he isn't in the main event. And then your two title matches, I should say. John Davis retained the Florida Heritage title against Caleb Conley, and Fred Yehi retained against Ethan Case. And then the main event, Jason Cade won the four-way freestyle, beating Austin Theory, John Cruz, and James Drake. Basically, Cade afterwards said he wants a rematch with Caleb Conley. And Conley hits him with a jumping knee to the back, you know, unawares. And Conley says he's having a real shitty night. He'll be getting the rematch, but it'll be the same ass finish. And then on the Saturday, we had Style Battle Episode 4, which started with Trevin Adams and Mr. St. Laurent in the ring, saying that how WWN is more than the individual companies and the fans and the talent. It's all about the crew. And they talk about Wayne's passing, you know, Richard Delicious. And they give him a good old 10-bell salute because I think the proceeds from this were going to the family, at least from the profits, I think. So in terms of the results, Jason K beat Socorro and Fred Yehi beat Odinson for Block A. Then with Block B, Jason Kincaid beat Sean Maluta and James Drake beat Ethan Case. Then for the Block A final, Fred Yehi beat Cade. And then Jason Kincaid beat James Drake. So that's the final. Then we had the fray, which was eventually won by Anthony Henry, who made AR Fox tap out. And apparently Anthony Henry for that will be getting another chance to be in the Style Battle. And his final opportunity will be the next show, June 16th. And Anthony says if he doesn't win, he won't be in any more Style Battles ever, apparently. And then the main event, Yehi versus Kincaid. I guess you could see it as an upset. Kincaid wins.
Yes.
So he will go on to the Style Battle Finals later on in the year.
Very nice. I'm happy to see that Jason's doing well. He definitely deserves it.
Tough bracket as well, if you look at it, with, you know, Fred Yehi in the final and then Drake in the semis. Then again, Yehi versus Cade would have been interesting. And obviously beating well, I guess he beat Maluta in the first one, which, you know, he isn't even good enough to be outside of jobber status on NXT. Sorry, Sean.
Very true.
So next up, Wrestle Circus's Lucha Carnival from Austin, Texas. We had Zenchi beat Jordan Lennox. Jervis Cottonbelly victorious over the Super Thunder Frog. Andy Dalton beat Garza Jr. Then we had a triple threat women's tag match with Tessa Blanchard and Taya Valkyrie beating Christy James and Alley Cat, and the other team of Thunder Rosa and Leva Bates. If you're wondering what her cosplay was, think about it. The show's called Lucha Carnival. Of course, she was dressed up as La Parka and playing crazy with a chair. I love it. So, you know how we mentioned last week that Joey Ryan and the boys were taking on each other for the Sideshow title?
Yep.
Turns out it was also for the Wrestling Revolver Scramble title, as well as the DDT Iron Man Heavy Metalweight title. So the 3 belts are on the line. Joey Ryan retained. In terms of the Iron Man belt, it's probably changed hands multiple times. I'm just waiting for Joey to put the video up on his YouTube channel. Next up, Scorpio Sky beat Michael Elgin. Rachel Ellering retained the Lady of the Ring title over Deonna Purrazzo. Roppongi Vice beat Extra Talented. John Morrison beat Keith Lee. And then the interesting main event, Penta, Phoenix, and Juventud Guerrera beat Mr. 450, Sammy Guevara, and Shane Strickland after Sammy walked out on his team. He don't give a shit. House of Glory's Adrenaline from Saturday started off with House of Gangon beating Private Party and Smiley in the 6-man, which is it was interesting. Smiley got pinned by Juba of the house, even though he kicked out. So who knows what was going on there. But the interesting thing is, basically, he convinced Smiley that his career had gone nowhere since leaving them. So Smiley turned on Private Party and laid them out, masked himself, and even attacked a female fan who tried to talk sense into him, who got super kicked and had her arm snapped. Man. So it was supposed to be next up was supposed to be Leroy Green versus Matt Travis, but Travis and Ken Broadway beat the shit out of Leroy Green. And then, oh shit, Homicide's here. So it's Homicide versus Matt Travis instead. Homicide wins, of course. Their next show is going to be August the 18th, which is SummerSlam weekend. You'll find out why that's important in a minute. Big Daddy Cruz won the 4-way against Mantequilla, Sasha Jenkins, and Draconis. Then Booker T came out for sort of a praise thing or a little sort of segment. I don't know. Violette won the street fight against Sonya Strong. Then we had the trust of Evander James, Smooth Blackmon, and Chris Seaton lose to Brian XL and his partners, which were TJ Marconi and Brian Burgundy. They then announced that the anniversary show, which is part of SummerSlam weekend, will feature some bloke called Bret Hart. Not sure who he is. So then the House of Glory title match. Ken Broadway defending against Leo Rush. This was originally supposed to be for the CCW title as well, but obviously because of what happened the day before, that wasn't going to happen. Which meant, of course, Leo Rush won. So we have a new House of Glory Crown Jewel champion. EYFBO, aka LAX / whatever they are called, because they did have the Impact titles with them. Successfully defended against Red Dragon of O'Reilly and Bobby Fish. And then the main event, Gangone, defending the House of Glory title against Cody Rhodes. Weird finish from what I've heard. Basically, Rhodes went to kick Anthony, but he moved. So Cody kicked the ref low, and the ref called for the bell. So by DQ and successfully retaining the belt is Anthony Gangon. So all the house came in and beat the shit out of Cody, but then the lights went out. And who's there but Amazing Red? The guy who retired isn't retired anymore, and he's making his in-ring return SummerSlam weekend. Ooh-wee! AAW last Thursday had their Thursday night special. Can't think why it was called that, especially because it was on Thursday. Paco Gonzalez beat Connor Braxton. Jake Chris won a four-way, beating Laredo Kid, Myron Reed, and Joey Janela. Trevor Lee beat Colt Cabana, reversing the Billy Goat's curse and using ropes for leverage. He's a bad man. In the freeway tag, Davey Vega and Alex Daniels beat Team Tremendous and Trey Miguel and Stephen Wolf. Keith Lee beat Donovan Dijak. Michael Elgin beat formerly known as Jack Swagger. I guess you can call him that. I don't know. Phoenix and Fox retained the tag belts, beating Shane Strickland and Leo Rush. And Sammy Callahan successfully retained the heavyweight title against Juventud Guerrera with a stretch muffler. Next to Shikara for the school reunion show. Cyberhawk 2 for the Force and Hermit Crab and Cajun Crawdad and the Sea Stars. Basically, Hermit Crab eliminated the Force. Crawdad eliminated the Sea Stars, so they were on 2 points. And then Cyberhawk beat them. Razorhawk basically hitting a swanton on Crawdad. So there go their points. Not sure how many points Cyberhawk have at the minute, but they're there. Then all of a sudden, Legends of the Ring, or Legends of Shikara anyway, Shane Storm, Rorschach, and Dragonfly all ran out for a selfie party. So that's a bit random. Then Murloc beat Crossbones with an Emerald Flosion. Mark Angelisetti and Fire Ant beat Jigsaw and Eric Cannon, with Touchdown hitting Jigsaw with a small package. Missile Assault Man beat Oleg the Usurper with a crucifix pin. So he has 3 points. So I think he'll be taking on Oleg sooner. He'll be taking on Juan Francisco sooner rather than later. The Campeonato de Parejas. It went to all 3 falls. Crummels and Defarge got the first fall. Des Peloton got the second fall. And then a groin kick without the referee seeing. And Great Expectations got the heels the win and retain the chance to retain the belts. And then the main event, Ultramantis Black, Icarus, Dasher Hatfield, Ophidian, and the returning Mr. Zero beat Hallowicked, Frightmare, Juan Francisco de Coronado, El Hella de Ice Cream, and Granakuma, with Mantis pinning Hallowicked with the Praying Mantis Bomb. Interestingly, after this, Mantis took off his gauntlets and left him in the middle of the ring. And the entire locker room hugged him. So is this actually Ultramantis' Black last ever match? That'd be sad to see. God bless you, Mantis. Still loved your match with Mr. Azerbaijan 2 years ago. Whoever that guy was. I did see him wearing Chuck Taylors, though, which was a bit odd. And Travis Huckabee beat the Proletariat Bora Moldova in the encore match, as always happens. Then we get to the tournaments. So last Friday and Saturday was the AIW JT Lightning Invitational. They changed this up a bit. The first round was sort of what it was supposed to be. So Shane Schultz beat Ethan Page in probably what could have been seen as an upset, really. Dominic Guarini beat Nunzio. Colt Cabana beat Space Monkey. Joey Janela beat Laredo Kid. So the next one, it was supposed to be Tom Lawler versus Jimmy Rave, but Jimmy Rave wasn't able to make it. So in his place was Dan Severn.
Yep, Filthy Tom versus Dan Severn. The great thing is, Filthy came out dressed like Dan Severn. Tom won, but bloody hell, that's an interesting one that I need to catch up on. Super Crazy beat Matt Cross. Gringo Loco beat Colin Delaney. Mike Tolar beat Britt Baker. Matthew Justice over Facade. Tracy Williams over Eddie Kingston. Mordecai beat Swoggle after hitting him with a wooden cross. And Alex Daniels beat Steve Payne. So then we get to night 2. They actually had an afternoon show, I guess, officially, unofficially, I don't know. Cup. So we had Marino Tenaglia beat Colby Reed. Garrison King beat AJ Gray. PB Smooth beating Philly Collins. And Jonathan Wolf winning against somebody. I haven't got the name here. So then, after those tournament matches, there was some non-tournament stuff. Super Crazy beat Nunzio and Steve Payne in the triple threat. Big Twan Tucker. Chase Oliver beat Big Twan Tucker, Kurt Hertz, Josh Bishop, Parker Pierce, and Trey Lamar in a 6-way scramble. Evan Adams won a 4-way over Brian Carson, Alex Keller, and Dr. Daniel C. Rockingham. And then the Back to the Future Cup itself was won by PB Smooth, beating the previous winners earlier in the night of Garrison King, Marino Tenaglia, and Jonathan Wolf. So then night 2 proper of the tournament. Previously, they've had the second round matches be one-on-one matches and then semi-finals and finals. Instead, this time, they decided to mash them all together. So your second round and semi-finals became 4-way, well, not 4-way dances, but fatal 4-ways to get the 3 finalists. So we had Sean Schultz beat Mordecai Cabana and Matthew Justice. Tracy Williams beat Mike Tola, Tom Lawler, and Dominic Guarini. And then Joey Janela winning his, beating Gringo Loco, Alex Daniels, and Laredo Kid, because apparently Super Crazy bloody injured himself with the moonsault for the match in the afternoon. So that's why Laredo Kid came in. He didn't win anyway. Cheech and Colin Delaney retained the AIW tag belts over Eric Ryan and Bobby Beverly. Lewis Linden beat T-Money. AJ Gray beat Ryan Kaplan in a 6-way scramble. Frankie Flynn beat Brooke Baker, Garrison King, Nasty Russ, Chase Oliver, and Stephen Payne. Tim Donts victorious over Eddie Kingston in a brawl that apparently went everywhere in the building. Matt Cross beat Adam Cole. Baby. And then the AIW the J-Lit tournament was won by Hot Sauce Tracy Williams, beating Joey Janela and Sean Schultz. That was probably a triple threat elimination. May not have been, I'm not sure. But Tracy Williams won it. So the Hot Sauce progresses on. And then Progress Wrestling. Man, 3 days of craziness. Jim Smallman, the owner of Progress, opened up talking about the Manchester bombing, and there was a spontaneous standing round of applause in memory of those injured and those that died. So the tournament itself, Jeff Cobb beat Nathan Cruz in the first round. Also, Mark Haskins beat Flash Morgan Webster. Travis Banks beat Jimmy Havoc. Zack Sabre Jr. beat David Starr via submission. Jack Sexsmith beat Jack Gibson. Tyler Bate beat Pastor William Eva. Flamita beat Mark Andrews. And then before the main event, Trent Seven got the mic off Jim and ran down Matt Riddle, said he couldn't cut it in NXT and he couldn't cut it in UFC. Unsurprisingly, Matt Riddle won by knockout. So then day 2, the show started with a video highlight package of day 1, and then Jim went around the audience to say why weren't they there for day 1. So it opened up with Mark Andrews and Flash Morgan Webster beating the London Riots. Then in the quarterfinals of the tournament, Tyler Bate beat Mark Haskins. The thing that happened here is Pete Dunne pulled the referee out the ring. Jimmy Havoc then came out with a chair and chased Dunne, but then said hit a pile driver on Haskins. Bate covered. The referee came to. Tyler Bate progresses.
So then next up, Jack Sexsmith came out with his arm in a sling. Apparently he went to A&E and had been advised not to compete, but because he's fought tooth and nail to get here, he's going to compete with one arm. Zack Sabre Jr. beats him. Although, interestingly, afterwards, Zack helped Sexsmith to the back and then screamed, "Vote fucking Labour!" Because if you've seen his Twitter, he's actually got pictured with the Labour leader. Because it's now a thing that it's not Zack Sabre Jr., it's Zack Labour Jr. Zack Sabre's getting into politics. That was weird as well. Seeing bloody Jeremy Corbyn with like proper wrestlers. He isn't that style of guy, from what I've seen. So then the other two quarterfinals happened. Matt Riddle beat Jeff Cobb, and then Travis Banks beat Flamita. So there's your four: Riddle, Banks, Sabre Jr., and Tyler Bate. Then Jimmy Havoc was on commentary for the next one because it was British Strong Style of Pete Dunne and Trent Seven taking on David Starr and Pastor William Eva. British Strong Style won, unsurprisingly. And then prior to the main event, came out with the brand new belt created by Leather Rebels. If you go onto their social media, you'll find it. It looks very, very nice. And the first Progress Wrestling Women's Champion is Toni Storm. She beat Ginny and Laura Di Matteo to win the belt in the freeway. So for day 3, we started off with Jim reenacting a scene from Lion King, apparently, as he lets his son have a lap of the ring, I guess, sort of circle of lifestyle. They recap day 2 on video for people that weren't there, and then it's time to open with the Waste Man Challenge with Roy Johnson, which is answered by David Starr, William Eva, Flamita, Flash Morgan Webster, and Mark Andrews. Then, interestingly, Jimmy Havoc comes out and says he's supposed to be in this hangover match as well, and he's sorry, but he's done. Smacks all 6 of them with a chair and leaves. But then Jack Sexsmith appears, gets the referee to ring the bell to start the match, and starts trying to cover everybody, and then runs up to commentary for some reason. So basically, it's an 8-person match or whatever. Flamita wins it. That's all I know. So the first semi-final saw Travis Banks beat Zack Sabre Jr. And then, interestingly, for the next one, Tyler Bate ripped off his boots and socks to face Matt Riddle barefooted, so it's on equal footing. And Tyler Bate won, from what I can tell, clean, which is weird. So it's going to be Travis Banks versus Tyler Bate. Toni Storm then is on guest commentary for the next match, which is Kaylee Ray. If you haven't gone to Progress Wrestling's YouTube and seen Katie Harvey's promo, oh my God. Why people threw shade at her just because her ring gear has a sleeve? I mean, she looks attractive without the glasses. She looks attractive with the glasses. She knows how to cut a promo. You better be watching her because she might be going places within the next 12 to 18 months, I would argue. Afterwards, Toni Storm entered the ring. Her and Kaylee Ray had a face-off. Kaylee Ray slapped Storm and ran off. I'm trying to remember if Kaylee Ray is supposed to be a baddie in Progress or not. Probably, because of that. Then in submission match, Trent Seven beat Mark Haskins via referee stoppage. So the deal here is Jimmy Havoc handed Haskins a chair, who used it on Seven. Seven then took out Havoc with a chair. Havoc recovered, rushed the ring with a chair himself, but Trent ducked, hit Haskins, and Seven locked in the sharpshooter. And because obviously he was out, the referee just called for the bell, saying Haskins couldn't answer the submission. And then afterwards, Havoc beat Seven up with a chair and helped Haskins to the back. So basically, the moral of that Stork Chip match is chair.
Pete Dunne beat Jeff Cobb to retain the Progress World title. And then Travis Banks beat Tyler Bate by submission to win Super Strong Style 16 2017. There was basically there were multiple ref bumps. And Chris Brooks and Kid Lycos CCK made the save, getting rid of Pete Dunne and Trent Seven, allowing Banks to get the win. And then afterwards, Banks said, "There's only one place I'm going to get my shot, and that's Ali Pally." So Travis Banks faces whoever Progress World Champion is in September the 10th, I believe, at the Alexandra Palace in London for their biggest show ever, probably, because you can pack a lot of people into Ali Pally. So in terms of what's going up this week, Dragon Gate Japan, it's actually happening this week. I've got the numbers right this time, within a few hours, actually, at Kurikan Hall. Although you won't be watching it, because at the same time is Best of the Super Juniors Block B, so bad luck, guys. Shikara's got an hour of power. No matches announced for that, but that's exclusively on Shikaratopia. Rev Pro have got a live at the cockpit taping, 17, their 17th edition anyway. Only 3 matches announced so far, although David Starr is set to be in action. We've got Zach Gibson versus Angelico, Josh Bodom possibly putting his cruiserweight title on the line against Ashley Dunn, and then Chris Brooks and Travis Banks of CCK. I don't know whether they're putting the British tag titles on the line. I'm not sure. Take on Suzuki Gun of Zack Sabre Jr. and Davey Boy Smith Jr. So that sounds like a plan. Freelance Wrestling this Friday has its Freelance Wrestling versus the World show in Chicago, Illinois at the Logan Square Auditorium. In case as well you are a fan, the show will be the return of the $5 live stream on freelancewrestling.com, and it'll be their first live stream as well from the Logan Square Auditorium. Set on the card, we've got Matt Cage versus Darren Corbin, Alex Olsen versus Matt Nix, a 6-way scramble with Robert Anthony, Elliot Paul, Kobe Durst, Eric Cannon, Brubaker, and Leon St. Giovanni. Ethan Page goes one-on-one with Grado. That could be interesting. Rob Matter and Chris Castro take on Team Beta of Craig Mitchell and Kenny Sutra. Superiority Complex defend the tag belts against the N-Words. Zayas Velasquez takes on Utamaro. Wow, we're getting some real Japanese international talent for there. Well, I guess it is Freelance versus the World. And GPA defends the Freelance Wrestling World title against Stevie Fierce. And ACW, as part of WWN stuff, have a show this Saturday at the Gulfview Event Center in Port Richey. Is it Richie? You know Florida, Owen?
It's probably Port Richey.
Yeah, Port Richey, Florida. It's happening. Paro, the ACW heavyweight champ's on it. The combat champ Sideshow, the women's champ Jenna, the cruiserweight champ Troy Hollywood. No other big names, but a lot of local talents. I guess Rhett Giddings, I see that one, and Josh Hess, I recognize them. But a lot of other names. We'll cover for it next week in more detail. And amazingly, that's actually it. The indies have decided to be rather rather generous to us this week for a change. Which, looking ahead to next week, we might be in luck again. Not too many shows either, so we've got a while until we get a shit ton of shows like we did a few weeks back. Ugh.
All right, so that's our show. Once again, thanks for everyone for joining us tonight. Ashley, where can we find you on social media?
I'm on Twitter at AshIsMyNameUK. Expect the E3 preview to be going up at some point, Sunday, Monday, whatever. Because
that's going to be complicated the next week because turns out Bethesda decided to move their thing to fucking midnight.
Shout out to Timbo for being in chat tonight. I saw Logan in chat tonight. Thanks everyone for joining us. Shout out to Acer at Acer1337 on Twitter, Logan at Logan Burton 10, and Pedro at Evil Takes Root. Acer, you also can check out the YouTube channel at Acer5000. So follow us on Twitter at Popcast Network. Follow me on Twitter at Sir Owen Disney. Check out our Zazzle merch, our Patreon, and our Facebook fan page, all at Popcast Network. So, as always, in a world where there are a billion wrestling podcasts, we're very pleased that once more this evening you've chosen a Popcast. I want to thank everyone for watching. Thanks, everyone, for listening. Join us this Sunday for Extreme Rules. As soon as the pay-per-view ends, we'll go live. And then Monday for the normal Monday Night Raw Popcast. Sip and Snack goes up tomorrow. AJ takes the weekend on Friday with the newest edition of AJ's television reviews on Fargo. Season 3, that's coming up on Friday. Saturday will be AJ's movie reviews, and Sunday will be Versus. So Ashley comes back on Monday, and then we do it all over again next week. So thanks, everyone, for watching. Thanks, everyone, for listening. And until tomorrow, boys and girls, that's all we got to say about that.
Don't let me down, Ospreay. Make Britain proud.